Hey, I'm Johnny C, and it's Indie Comics Relay, and we're here at the Haverhill Public Library for Haverhill Comic Con. I'm going to toss it right over to Keith.
That's right, everybody. We're here at Indie Comics Relay, representing at Haverhill Comic Con. Lots of great people here, lots of great vendors, great artists, great comics, and we got Harry with us. As you can see, he's he's engulfed in a comic book right now. So come on down. Great show. They do it every May. A lot of fun. And check out Indie Comics Relay.
And most importantly, free comics. Hey everybody, I'm Johnny C, and I'm whispering because I'm at the Haverhill Public Library for Haverhill Comic Con. And I wanted to just share a little pro tip with you guys. In case you didn't know, you can actually get comics and graphic novels at your local library. So, a little pro tip, if you have a library card, you can take out comics for free. So be sure to get a library card, consult your local library, and read some comics.
Comics Wellspring. And yeah, this was printed with Comics Wellspring. Came out beautiful.
High quality stuff. People think it's fantastic. All the books that you see at my table are through Comics Wellspring.
Dimensions
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and the promoter for Plastic City Comic-Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana the Comic, Surrounded by Death and the Pond. For who, Johnny?
My good cousin, Roger Morocco.
Absolutely. And our third co-host, the Time Lord of Tangents himself, Harry G. What's going on, guys?
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
That
I love
intro.
that AEW video because the last shot is me, you, and my old man ringside giving the thumbs up.
Isn't
I
that
love
like a great video?
Great video, great picture. Love it.
I was going to say
Add
because,
it to the rotation, you know?
I was going to say because of that video, Get Well Soon, Ted DiBiase, and Jerry Lawler, of course.
Oh,
Oh,
I
were
didn't
they,
know they were under the
they-
weather.
They're under the weather?
Yeah, well, Jerry Lawler had a stroke, and
Jesus.
Ted DiBiase.
It's a little bit more than under the weather.
yeah, and Ted DiBiase fell at somewhere and he like hurt himself. Pretty, I
Oh,
think he
no shit.
cracked some ribs. I think so.
Damn.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
You know,
I
these
didn't
guys
hear any of
were the
that.
hardest of bumps back in the day, and now the tiniest bump, like, put them down.
I know.
Or, give them a hard time. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, so much is. It felt like a month's passed by since our last
It feels
live
that
stream,
way.
doesn't it? Like,
It's only been
like
2 weeks, and it's like so much has happened. We went to
we went to
SPX.
SPX, which we haven't really talked about, but we did drop a video on the channel. If we do have time tonight, we'll play it. But it is long. It's like 7 or 8 minutes, but it has. Yeah, Johnny, if you want to mention it, it has a great moment between.
I'm just going to tease it. You can find out what this is all about. So we probably won't have time to watch the video at the show, but go online, go to the channel, subscribe, and find out what this is all about and why this was the preface to it right there.
Yeah, exactly. Harry.
But
So
wicked good fun time.
What
at
I might
SPX.
do is if you don't get a chance to watch it, I might cut just the moment with you and Dean Haspiel and put that in the intro credits next week or the next time we're live, so we can have that moment. I think that'd be funny.
That would be
Yeah,
good.
it's really good.
It's good.
Very
Very
fun.
memorable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. Dean will never forget you.
Yeah. That was a great show, though. I really had a good time at that show.
I had a good time.
And like you noted, go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, if it had an IC3 vibe, and so much so that I actually confused it for IC3. And it had nothing to do with the several beverages of alcohol I drank before.
Yeah, right. and it was noteworthy because it was the first time me and you shared a table in like 8 years or something.
Long
like,
time,
wasn't it?
a real long time. And we still got it.
Yeah.
We still got it.
Not
thing I
since
didn't
the
like
Dudley
about Harry-
Boys.
Yeah, right.
Oh, good.
The Dudley Boys.
Oh, the
Get the
Dudley
table.
Boys. Yeah, get the tables.
Right.
Bubba,
Right.
get the tables.
But they didn't put any like gaps between the tables, and I don't like when they do that because
Yeah.
like
How do you get
someone
out?
has to get up.
Do you
and,
climb
like,
under the table?
disrupt
Do
the entire row. What's that?
you climb under the table? How do you get out of there?
It was a shuffleboard game the whole time. Like, we're waltzing behind people. We had one lovely woman who was to our left that like left more frequent than not. So that was a little bit like, and then a good friend of mine who I didn't even know she tabled and who I knew through New York Comic-Con and San Diego Comic-Con was tabling right next to us.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Which was so wild, but her setup too, like she had her nice suitcase, but it made it tough to navigate around just because of the layout.
Sounds like
no fault on
sounds like
anybody.
a fire hazard.
Layout.
A little
I
bit.
didn't say it.
Little
Sounds
bit.
like
I didn't say it.
What? Say what? Say what? The fire hazard thing? It sounds like a fire. I mean, how do you get out of there if there's any kind of like
I
a
think
very
Rhode
common.
Island does the same thing with their tables, or some other shows do this, and it's they don't put the gap in. I hate that. Like so if you have to get out, it's like it's a whole problem. It's a problem for everybody else.
Yeah. And I'm not good. I'm wobbly, so God forbid, one wrong
After
step and I'll go
working it,
down
yeah.
onto somebody's display.
dominoes?
Exactly.
But this show is unique where it's like it had everything from do it yourself comics all the way up to like the biggest of the small publishing people there, like publishers like Top Shelf and Fantagraphics and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people there. Yeah,
place too, wouldn't you say, Johnny? There was like, go ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to kind of note is that all the vendors were in one room.
Yeah, definitely.
Which makes a difference for a Comic-Con, believe it or not. And
yeah, absolutely.
The way they had it kind of sectioned off was great because it was like A through like M or something, and every quadrant was a letter, and then there was just the perimeter. So you could literally walk the aisles and then walk the perimeter, and you've seen the whole show. But it also gave everybody enough opportunity to like check everybody out and see what everybody was all about.
Oh yeah.
The other cool thing is that I did this before last time we did the show, but this time around, Keith was able to get Mighty Mascots into the Library of Congress.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Congratulations.
That, and I think I gave them that, Swamp Tales, and Hero Envy. So all of that'll be in the Library of Congress, which is awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Just cool. That's really
it's so funny. Cool. Like I told my mother about that, and like that's been the most impressive thing about
finally you made it.
The last 20 years, that's been the most impressive thing I've ever done.
So what's the process in getting in there?
It was me handing the books to this lady who gave me a piece of paper, and then I don't even know what happened after that.
I think you had to sign something. You just had to fill out a thing.
Something.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then,
very official.
Yeah,
just some random lady.
It's just a nice perk of doing that show specifically.
Wow.
Yeah, so it takes like, wasn't it you saying it takes like about a year to get it to?
Well, I tried getting the commitment of the turnaround time from that woman, and she was like, I don't know. But I was originally quoted was like 8 months to a year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but that was like a highlight.
I should actually check to see if Surrounded by Death is on there, because that's why I submitted last time.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I bet it's there by now.
It's probably got to be there by now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to do that in a year, just see if my stuff's on there. You know,
you should add that to your title now, Keith. Congress, Library of Congress inductee.
Have you used that in your in any of your stuff, Johnny? Have you used that as
because I keep forgetting that I have this accreditation. I have this wonderful accreditation that's literally like would look good on an actual like job resume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
And I forget that I have it. You know what I mean? I really should. I should respect that more often. What's that?
They don't send you a certificate or anything, do you? Do they?
Not that I recall. I don't think so, because I don't think they gave you. You didn't give your address, right?
No.
Right.
So they probably
I don't think. Yeah, and I don't even think they took an email or anything. It was just like they just wanted our names correctly. And I think we had to sign something, if I remember. You know.
Yeah. It was something like that. So yeah. So that happened, which was cool.
That happened.
Cool.
So that was fun. But anyways, we'll table that for now. Like I see our first guest is already in the green room. So
awesome.
Yeah,
what a fun show.
This is gonna be. We got some great guests tonight. So.
Amazing guests tonight. This is just
our old
next
friend
level
Julius is coming back in the last hour.
I was just gonna say an artist I've worked with directly on my very first comic.
Yep. And then Johnny, could like, since you know Greydon, can you set up like a good intro for him? Like tell the audience, give a little backstory on who he is and everything.
I don't want to give the impression that I know him very well, like we're longtime friends, but I was introduced to Greydon very recently, and I was by my colleague and friend Joe Arnold, who's going to be on the show later tonight. But I met Greydon on a video chat, kind of one-on-one, and he talked a lot about his everything. This guy does everything, which I just thought was awesome. He's like a Renaissance man of the modern age.
I would add, since Nandor Fox, best voice guy we've had on here, I think.
100%. Oh yeah, his voice alone, it rivals Nandor's hands down.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's so musician, comic creator, digital content provider, streamer, YouTuber. He's got it all. He checks all the boxes.
I think he's an Iraq vet too.
He's what?
I think he did serve. Yeah.
He may have served. Yeah, he actually may have served. So like this guy, he's done it all.
Oh my God.
I was
Okay.
thoroughly impressed with not only just everything he's done, but one specific thing he's working on that got me super excited. I don't know if I can talk about it. I'll leave it up to Greydon, but sure enough, without further ado, let's bring him in.
All right, without further ado, let's bring in tonight's first guest, Greydon Square. What's up, Greydon?
How you guys doing?
Whoa.
See,
man.
his voice is silky
He's out of his,
smooth.
he's out of his
His
world.
voice
This
is
guy.
silky smooth. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Have you ever done radio
See
at
you
all,
again.
Greydon? You seem like you have a great voice for radio.
Are you trying to say I'm ugly? No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm joking.
Ah,
Yeah. David
no,
Allen
no,
would
not
say
at
who?
all, man.
It's interesting. I actually didn't find my voice until I feel like my mid to late 20s, and I feel like everybody has a chance to like find their voice. And I didn't find mine until, like I said, I was in my sort of mid to late 20s, almost in my 30s. I was 28, 29 years old before I was able to kind of like what I call sitting into your voice. You know what I mean? And so I teach that with a lot of my students in my phonetic rhyme theory class that I teach. So it's, yeah.
Johnny wasn't kidding. You teach class too, man. You got a lot going on, huh?
Everything.
I have a lot going on, but I work with like really special people. I mean, Johnny spoke about Joseph Arnold. I'm so used to calling him Structure that I don't really hear people call him like his government name. So it's like, but Struck, I work with a lot of amazing people between Joseph, my business and writing and tag team partner, Tombstone the Dead Man. My writing team at Majestic Comics, and just overall the community of Grand Unified Theory, which is a creative collective that I created out of the sort of the community of my music fans.
Okay.
And so I was a professional musician for over 20 years. And a lot of my fans would ask, like, how do I follow you and find out what you got going on? And so the community of Grand Unified was basically formed around that. And so when I did Majestic Comics, we didn't really start from scratch. We actually had a community that was already there that was
that's
interested
awesome.
in hearing what we had to say. And it was unique because I didn't come from the comic book space. I come from the space opera space. I'm a Star Trekkie and,
Oh,
that sort of
nice.
stuff. So, yeah.
Hence the background, hence the shirt.
Oh, yeah. You know how
Right.
to represent. You know how to represent Strange New
No,
Worlds.
Which starship are you flying right now, actually? What ship are you flying?
Show you. I will show you. This is
Whoa, look at that thing. Jesus.
Yeah, this is the UFS
It's awesome.
Event Horizon. Yeah, this
Oh,
is the
cool.
ship that we fly in a game called Star Citizen. And so I don't know if you've heard of Star Citizen, but Star Citizen is this wildly ambitious video game project, and it's basically an MMO version of GTA in space. So
That's cool.
Anybody who's ever seen that?
Can I ask
it's
you
absolutely ridiculous?
which? Can I ask which Star Trek series are you? Do you like the best, or is your favorite?
That's personal. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a huge fan myself.
I'm going to take a wild stab guess.
Go ahead.
Next Generation.
No, that's not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess. The
I got a guess.
The TNG. What is your guess? I would love to hear that.
Discovery.
Okay. You
I'm going to go Deep Space Nine.
That was my second
All
guess.
right. Okay.
Okay. Well, I will say that Keith is correct. That Deep
Yeah.
Space Nine
Oh, cool. Very
is
nice. Very
the
nice.
actual greatest iteration of Star Trek. However,
The greatest,
that.
you say?
is, yeah.
Okay.
More so than
Why is that?
TOS.
Wow.
TOS is the brand. That is something that is the standard, and I mean it's hard to argue with, just Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura. Sulu. It's just hard to the brand. That's like the Pepsi, the Nike. That is literally the brand.
Gotcha.
Deep Space Nine encapsulates all of the ideals of Star Trek, in my opinion.
Okay.
It talks about the sort of sacrifice that the Federation, quote unquote, makes for the safety of the Alpha Quadrant. It talks about the Messiah complex that Cisco has to deal with while being a single father widower. And then also this dynamic that a lot of people don't really talk about because it doesn't get brought up, which is, this is a Black father in the future trying to father his son on a space station in the year 1994 or whenever Deep Space Nine came out. It was wildly relevant because there was a bunch of black TV dads that got recognition during that time. Uncle Phil and Carl Winslow from Family Matters and these guys. And Avery Brooks, in my opinion, always kind of gets disrespected, if you will, with the fact that he doesn't get brought up with the TV dads of the 90s. And I get upset with that, I mean,
I don't
my
blame
TV
you,
dad,
like, why should it just be sitcoms, like?
Talk about voices too. That guy had a voice.
Yeah, he did.
That guy had a.
Oh my goodness.
He is. Yeah, that dude.
He was amazing.
One kind of like just pin note to put on Star Trek the original series when trying to, because this is the thing. There's the people who just love TOS and they just consider it to be like this gold standard. So the way I like to rebuke that is that, well, football isn't all about the goalpost, even though that's the most important part of it. So I kind of consider TOS to be the goalpost. And then there's varying degrees of greatness in between that. And that's where those other shows come in.
It's the baseline of
yeah.
Have you met any of your anybody that from the Star Trek shows that you as a celebrity?
Yeah, I have actually. I've met Whoopi Goldberg several times.
Cool.
So I grew up in group homes back in the 80s and 90s. I was a ward of the court orphan, product of the state. And one of the group homes that I was in, they used to have a lot of celebrities come and do things for the kids. And so one of those celebrities, among others, was Whoopi Goldberg, and she would come to one of the group homes that I was in. And
oh wow!
Back in the day, I don't know if this exists anymore, but there was a picture of me and her in this group home back when the group home existed. I couldn't even tell you if that exists anymore, but
yeah,
that was one. Michael Dorn, Tim Russ. I met Tim Russ at Occupy Wall Street, actually.
Oh, wow. Did you really?
I was at Occupy Wall Street protests, and I was walking with my my then girlfriend, and I seen literally Tim Russ over there just holding a sign. Nobody was trying to talk to him or nothing. It was crazy. Yeah.
Huh.
It's crazy.
That is
nuts. Is it Tim Russert?
People. Tim Russ.
Did you say Tim Russert? Okay, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know. Speaking of eyebrows, Whoopi Goldberg has none. Johnny, do you know that?
I did not know that.
That's right.
I did not have tabs on Whoopi's eyebrows.
You can't miss them.
Can't miss them because they're not there.
Right. But here's the thing. Like, I'm a big fan of her. Right. So it's not like I was, she was a person who did a lot for a lot of kids who grew up in the county.
That's cool. I like hearing that she did do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is actually quite meaningful. Like, and even just strides for comedy in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's
it was I can't remember the organization, but it was her, Robin Williams, Billy Crystal. Every year they did a benefit.
Wasn't it like Comic Relief or something?
Comic Relief.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's like it's so great to see that she was doing that then. You know what I mean? But somehow along the way she lost the eyebrows.
No, I don't think she ever had them. I don't remember seeing
Or
them.
maybe she never had them. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe there are tribbles. Yeah, we don't
and
know.
to that point, if to tease the video we released on the channel, maybe Dean Haspiel can draw some on for
right,
like he did for me.
That's really a pretty good advantage because based on your mood, you can draw them in.
Exactly. That sounds like a Naked Gun joke come to life.
Yeah, right. Before we continue on, is Greydon's volume a little lower than? Can you guys hear him? Okay,
a little bit.
I can hear him good. I don't know. Is everybody else good with him?
Check.
Oh,
okay, that sounds better. I think
better.
it was maybe it was just my side. Things are a little low.
Yeah.
Mike.
No, you're good.
But,
you sound good, my man.
Okay.
What I wanted to say is, when I announced that we were having you on the show on my social media this week, and I had a friend named Dave reach out to me. He's like, I'm subscribed to your show. He goes, but I don't really watch it because I just don't have time. But the fact that you have Greydon on, I'm going to be listening. I guess he's a big fan of your music, and he sent me a couple of links to your, I think it's on your YouTube to listen to, and I listened to a couple, and there's really good stuff, man. So when did you start getting into the music stuff? Was that like when you were really young, or?
Yeah. So I mean, there's sort of two phases of my music career, if you will, and I'll quickly kind of go through both of them. But when I was younger, I was a self-taught pianist, and so I was in a group home where I was sort of put in the circumstances where I got a chance to learn how to teach myself how to play piano, and that manifested for a long time. That was the manifestation of my music. And as I got older and technology got better, digital production started to become a thing in the late 90s, mid-late 90s. And I remember I had gotten I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a game. I say game in quotations, but there was a game called MTV Music Generator. And MTV Music Generator was it wasn't a game, but it was a piece of software for the PlayStation, and it let you basically make beats. You could make music, or it had these prepackaged loops in there, and you could arrange them, and there's samples you can chop up and move around, and it was really basic. But it was the first time I had my own opportunity to really like make music. So that was all the way up until I went to the Army, and I went to the Army when I was I swore in when I was 18, but went to basic when I was 19 in 2001, and shortly after 9/11, I got my permanent duty station. I went to Fort Riley, Kansas, where I met other people who were into digital music, and they introduced me to some software, Fruity Loops, and Music Center Pro, and then I got into. Eventually, I would get into like Cool Edit and what would eventually be called Audacity. So I've been making music my entire life. The rap aspect of the making music came from my love of hip hop of the 90s. And I grew up listening to a lot of people who are considered all time greats, right? Ice Cube, Wu-Tang, Scarface. I was listening to a lot of people, right? And so one of the people I was listening to was a dude named Cannabis. And Cannabis was this like super lyrical MC. He talked about, space and time and, aliens and stuff like that.
Cool. That's
so
my
I was
bag.
really into cannabis. Yeah, really into cannabis. And so I started writing songs that were like hyper lyrical, and that became my calling card. So throughout my entire career, I had been writing songs. Like my most famous song is a song called Omniverse, where I'm talking about going from the smallest theoretical scale to the largest theoretical scale in one single verse. So that gives you an idea of
That's cool.
kind of what I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then like how does comics work into this? Like were you always a fan, and like you decided one day to make a comic, or how did that all kind of crack open?
This is interesting. So I'm glad I told you guys the music part first, because in music, specifically in hip hop, there are rivalries and there's a competitive nature and whatnot, right? And so in hip hop, it's basically the same. There's beefs and there's feuds and there's battles and all these kind of things. So you have to navigate this in hip hop. And early in my hip hop career, people were trying to pit me against other rappers. They're like, "Yo, man, you should battle this dude because of the stuff that I was saying." And one of the dudes they told me I should battle or I should go up against was a guy named Tombstone the Dead Man. And this was on Reddit. The Reddit post is still up. It's like 14 years old at this point, right? And people were like, "Yeah, you should battle Tombstone." And so I reached out to Tombstone. I'm like, "Yo, man, people are saying we should battle." And he laughs, and we kind of introduce ourselves. And little did I know that this guy was going to be like one of my best friends in life. And so
that's awesome.
I meet Tombstone, and Tombstone's like, "Yo, I'm really into comics as well." And I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I didn't really think nothing of it because I'm really into Star Trek, and I didn't really come from comics. And so we were having a conversation a couple years into our friendship, and we would have these multi-hour conversations. And we had a conversation that dealt with sort of the ontological nature of reality. And I remember the conversation, and specifically a question that came up that asked, if Stan Lee is the one above all and created himself inside the reality of Marvel Comics, then if he dies, does that mean he is immortal inside the reality of Marvel?
I would say no. I would say no to answer that theoretical question, only because he is not the entirety of Marvel Comics.
No. He may not be. He may not be. But I think, and I could be wrong here. You guys are probably more the expert than I. But is he not revealed to be the one above all? Did they not name him specifically to be like, when we say the one above all, we're actually saying Stan Lee. Stan Lee in his incarnation.
Right? Wasn't he an alien in one of his cameos? Wasn't he an alien, like proven? Because he's in every movie. You know, he like mixing a cameo appearance, and
that's
voice
interesting.
That he narrated.
Well,
no, he narrated.
Because I think the last episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series, Spider-Man visits Stan Lee in this very like meet your creator meta kind of way, and that kind of like implicated things about Stan Lee being this omnipotent kind of above all individual. So I don't have the actual fact on that, but that's a very interesting theory.
Yeah. But he's like, I would say too, like, is he immortal because of these creations? Because they're gonna last forever? Like, are you thinking in that way too, or?
Well,
wouldn't it be Kirby though?
It'd be both.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah,
it could be.
Right.
But the general idea is that there are questions that you can ask about comics and about existence, I guess, that aren't cleanly answered. And because of that, it sent us down a rabbit hole that led us to the formation of Majestic Comics and trying to sort of answer that question in story form. And it led us to create a comic book where one of the main characters of that comic book explores that question. And so, you know, if you actually look at the comic book cover, it's based off of two characters, but the sort of main character that I created for this story was a character named Grey of Extropia. And this character studies that very science of answering the question of if a creator of a story writes himself into that story and the invocation that he or they are in that particular story, then that story has its own reality, its own laws of physics, its own timeline, regardless of what happens to the person who wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's very
That'd be a great what if episode.
Yeah. So you get into some real, existential what I call speculative existential territory where you're trying to ask.
Yeah.
If you go to the very first question, it's like the character asks, like, what if I told you that our universe was one of a multitude of cosmic value sets, networked as an ever-existing hub of interconnected realities? And so it kind of opens with that question among these two characters, and that's how it began.
Oh wow, very cool, man. Like, I love how you guys got together to do that. Like, and it's so deep, like Johnny was saying. Like, it's
very deep.
It's stuff. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because it points to a lot of grander things and a lot of grander themes. I mean, you know, it runs adjacent to religion and just, you know, faith, and there's a lot of things that are kind of permeating through that kind of theme. So even for the content of a comic, there's a lot you can unpeel and like just really explore there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Blue Streak is saying this comic sounds amazing. I need it.
Well, I hope I'm doing a good job of selling it. So
yeah, right, man.
It's beautiful artwork from Joe Arnold, or as
so this is Joe too, right?
Yeah, this is Joe's work.
And one of my favorite panels of all time in really any medium of art is this panel right here, because I kind of described this to him. I was trying to be romantic, and there was this sort of concept that we talked about of the realities and writing yourself into them. And one of the things between these two characters was within their sort of cosmological love story, they had this saying they would say to each other where it's like, in this reality and all others. And he was able to capture this incredibly, right? And this is where I kind of have to go back and remember, like, well, how did I get linked up with Joseph? And, you know, he's a fellow combat veteran of the 82nd. So I was in the 82nd. And I was attached to the 82nd via 582nd Maintenance Battalion out of Fort Riley. And so finding out that he was a fan of my music and was also in the same unit that I was in the military, and we only kind of missed each other by a couple of like months of like rotation. He was here, I was here. I rotated out, he rotated in, and that sort of thing. You know, Joseph was the one who really brought all of this to life for me in Tombstone. We had these ideas for these characters, and yet we could not bring this to life without the third person of our triune, which is Joseph Arnold. We call him Struck, so I'm not used to calling him Joe.
Is your partner Tombstone? Was his name inspired by the Spider-Man villain Tombstone?
No, he was actually a big pro wrestling fan.
Oh, okay.
Undertaker
even
fan.
better.
Yeah.
After Undertaker's tomb, after his finishing move. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Okay. I like that.
I always say that he's like my tag team partner. Like we're like the Harlem Heat, right? I'm Booker T. He's Stevie Ray. You know. That's how we that's how I see it.
Oh man, Johnny, that'd be amazing to call ourselves after like a wrestler's move.
I gave you guys a name already.
Yeah,
Dudley Boys.
Dudley. No, but after a finisher.
Finishing move. So Johnny can be like the money maker, or is that the one you would choose, Johnny? Or
I don't
shake,
know.
rattle, and roll.
So I would actually. So if I can geek out for a hot second here, I would probably use Big Rig, which was the name of the FTR's Shatter Machine before they called it Shatter Machine.
Okay.
So I would call it. I'd pick Big Rig. I don't know. What would you pick, Keith?
I don't know. I kind of like either Buckshot Lariat or Coffin Drop.
Hidden Blade.
Yeah, Hidden Blade.
Hidden Blade.
Spirit Gun. I mean, there's so many good ones. Like, you know, they come up with so many good moves. But anyways,
we digress.
That's a great idea. Never thought to call yourself after their finishing move, like
Harry Leg Drop G.
I
love it.
And there's a lot of great finishers to name yourself after. Although this
DDT is the best.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a great one.
It's a great one.
To create a finisher. I thought about this when I was a kid, and I had the brief idea that I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I was going to call my finisher the Gorno Flick. And
I like that.
From the Gorn.
I love that.
Yes, from the Gorn, and also obviously a flip on porno from back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
porno flick. But it'd be like
of course.
It was basically it's like a front back body drop over your head. Like it's kind of like I don't really know what it's called, but in my head it was a great finisher, and it would have been a great finisher for a world champion. But, what
did you think of the way the Gorn looked like? The appearance of the Gorn in what's it called? The last Star Trek series.
Pirate?
Strange World?
No, Strange New Worlds, right? The Gorn in that series. What do you think of that? Of those guys? The look of the Gorn. It's pretty.
I mean, I don't mind. Look, Star Trek has a budget to try to invest in better looking, villains, and the Gorn has never really been explored outside of TOS. I think they're a fascinating series to try to like build some lore after. But here's the problem, if I may, as the resident.
Oh no, please.
Here, they got to stop with the TOS era. They got to stop. Like we're done.
Right.
We're done with TOS.
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean,
we're done. You can't go back and mine that for more money. There's no more money in the TOS era. There just isn't.
Yeah.
So either give us post Voyager timeline or watch that franchise be relegated to the dustbin of history. Because right now they keep trying to give us the same stuff.
They do that even with the Star Wars stuff. It's they always go to that that canon like.
But that new Mandalorian trailer looked dope. Let me tell you.
I haven't watched it yet. I'll have to
it's
see
good.
it tonight
It's
before
good.
I go to
I'm
bed.
down.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So I was going to say we've digressed a little bit. I wanted to kind of circle back around to the comic. Now I got to see a little bit of the comic, Greydon, when you were showing me the other project you were working on. Are you allowed to, and can you talk about that other project?
I am not legally obligated, or I'm not legally free to talk about that right now. I can talk about it behind the scenes, off record, but I cannot talk about it on record.
No problem. But
we do have a patent pending on that, and as soon as our legal team says it's okay to actually talk about it, then we can actually talk about it publicly. So yeah.
Oh, right on. But so if I can cut a little promo and teasing it,
Yeah.
Greydon is working on probably one of the most revolutionary things I've seen in digital comics beyond global comics itself.
What a tease. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about the meta of this, right? Like, I would love to talk about the meta of this, which is, as an outsider coming into the space of comics, with all due respect, I'm not coming into. I am a guest in the house of comics. Okay, I'm a hip hopper, so that's my house. But in someone else's house, I'm not going to go in there and just start talking shit. However, there are certain things I have to ask. Why haven't they been asked questions they haven't been asked before by people inside of the community of comics? Why aren't we saving this, or why aren't we using that? It seems like comics got very comfortable being what they were and never really changing because there was a financial industry built around what it was. Now, again, I'm an outsider, so who knows what I think and how that's going to be received. But I do think I have some ideas to make the experience of reading comics really interesting in the 21st century. And that's never really been explored as much as I've seen anything in the digital comic space.
Well, to your point, I like that you're an outsider coming in. You have fresh ideas. Right. You have fresh eyes for the industry. Whereas, like, I don't, like me and Johnny been doing it for a while, and Harry, not really in the comics, but like he's more a graphic designer. But like we only think about what we know, so it's nice to see somebody else taking a look at the industry, but with a different eyes.
And coming from the outside and seeing things from a new perspective. It's very easy when you're in indie comics and you're kind of juggling a lot of things and you're just creating story and you're just, and you can only bring the experience that you have to the table. Right. And to see it from an outside perspective of somebody who's got such experience and such a wide belt of just renaissance that you've been through, that's refreshing because undoubtedly you'd be bringing something new to the table. And sure enough, that's what you did, or that's what you're doing. Yeah. And I can't wait for you to roll it out. And I would hope that you would consider us as one of the first places that you help roll out that thing when it happens.
I would love to announce it on your show.
That would be dope.
Cool. That would be awesome.
That would be so dope.
So and I would even argue that we're a couple of weeks away from getting that clearance. I would say we're no more than 2 weeks, maybe even.
Oh my God!
I thought we would make the deadline before this actual date, but unfortunately, I didn't get the notice. And
that's fair. That's fair. But to that point, we will do a special episode for you. I'm speaking for these two guys, but I'm telling you right now, we will do a special episode for you.
And we'll check with our lawyers too and make sure everything's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No,
Harry's actually a part-time ambulance chaser.
Yeah, you've never had to prove if you are really committed to an idea unless you're willing to pay legal fees to
right. Amen to that, man. Yeah. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, that's great. Dude, absolutely. I love that. Johnny, you were correct. This guy is a renaissance man.
Amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Greydon, can I do a cheap plug real quick?
Please, absolutely.
Please. So I host a daily stream Monday through Friday called Office Hours on my YouTube channel, where honestly I just sit in my office and I have meetings and I'm on mute and I just have music playing in the background and I monitor the chat. But a lot of people come and also have me in the background in their offices. We all work and we sort of kind of use each other to sort of sham at work. So if you're interested in that, come check me out on YouTube.
It's like a communal space kind of.
Yeah. It's interesting. You look over and see somebody working, you're like, well, I should get to work then. You know what I mean? And so that's what
keep each other motivated. Yeah.
I'm also on Spotify. You can check me out on Spotify and all the other DSPs. All my music is out.
What part of the country are you in, Greydon?
I'm in Phoenix.
Phoenix, okay.
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. So, yeah. I grew up in LA. I'm born and raised in LA, but I moved to Arizona about a decade ago and haven't really looked back.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Very cool. Johnny, you seemed like you were gearing up to ask something.
No, I was just gonna say I want to circle back even a little bit more with the comics. So when it comes to presenting the books, are you doing conventions yet?
Yes, we have done conventions. We did Dragon Con a couple years ago. I did Vegas Con. I did there was a Star Trek Las Vegas that I did. And sometimes we have a booth, sometimes we have a table, sometimes we don't. I'm a hip hopper, so I like the backpack method, the out of the trunk method. I just like putting comics in my backpack and going up to people wearing my gear and just being like, "Yo, are you interested in comics? Let's talk." You know,
I love that.
I do a lot of like cold selling to strangers on the street at comic book conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah, who needs a table?
That's so guerrilla though.
Yeah,
That's
right.
old school. That's like how
Yeah.
that's how like Wu-Tang did it with their CDs. You know what I mean? Like that's just old school shit. I love that.
Yeah.
There's a blue streak in the chat saying that you should hook up with somebody called Mega Ran in Phoenix. Are you familiar with him at all, Greydon?
I shout out to Mega Ran. Mega Ran's been on my show. I have Mega Ran's number in my phone right now. I've known Mega Ran for almost 20 years. In fact, I've known Mega Ran for 20 years coming up. We actually at that Dragon Con, we actually had dinner. And we were talking about this comic idea before I actually launched it, before I started the software company. Shout out to Manifest Software. But before I started Manifest Software, me and him talked about this idea that Johnny C is talking about. And so he came on my show. He's a big wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. And we got a mutual friend in MVP. So shout out to Hassan. But yeah,
MVP.
I know Mega Ran very well.
I was gonna say, didn't Mega Ran do the theme for New Day?
He did. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh, he's got a award-winning child's book out right now. Like he's got a kid's book he just wrote. Like you talk about Renaissance. This dude was a elementary school teacher. He's been in the wrestling ring with like some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's friends with like the New Day, and you know he did their theme. Like you talk about a Renaissance man, have him on your show. That dude Mega Ran.
Oh, we'd love to have Mega Ran on.
Oh yeah,
we just think he's kind of big, so I don't know. We're just little guys.
I'll hit Mega Ran up tomorrow. And just be like, look, the guy I just was on the show. It was dope. You should do this show. It was
Word.
Yeah, man. He's as down to earth as you can get as a person. There's not a stench of Hollywood on him. He just wants to help people. So
yeah.
I think we could talk to him for hours just on wrestling. I bet
probably. Yeah, I think I'm linked up with him on Twitter. What's that?
I said you guys could talk to me for hours about wrestling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Greg, did you watch All Out yesterday?
I watched a little bit of All Out. I haven't watched any wrestling for the last couple of months because I've been sort of bunkered down working on this project.
Don't ruin anything after the coffin match, Johnny, because I haven't watched it yet.
All right. Well, we should stop it right there because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I would love to know your thoughts about Eddie Kingston and just that side of wrestling in general. Because
Eddie Kingston.
Like I said, I have friends in the business, so I'd be interested in knowing.
Eddie Kingston's one of my absolute favorite wrestlers because he's real. He's like, what's kayfabe to him? It's no such thing. It blurs the line of reality. He is what he puts out there. I love Eddie Kingston. I love his go. I loved seeing him return last night. I wish the finish of the match was a little cleaner, but I don't know where the path is going to go with him and the person they paired him up with. But I'm excited to see that. And I'm just happy to see Eddie Kingston back. And I'm happy to hear The World is Cold and that music hit and him come out with that fucking snarl on his face. That's my dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's a few people in the business. I think, MVP is another one and Shelton Benjamin, like Bobby Lashley and those guys. Like I have the utmost respect for a large chunk of the AEW roster. Like I think they are just so disrespected as a talent pool. So I have a lot of respect for AEW as a company, as a brand, as like an independent offering. But then I'm also a huge WWE fan. I grew up on Trips and DX and all those guys. And I like the fact that they're in charge now. I like the fact that Undertaker is Mark Calloway now. And, like Road Dogg is a writer and like Abyss is a writer. And it's just like, what future is this? Like, I think it's kind of cool, yeah, man, I'm a big fan of wrestling just in its current state. I'd say right after the pandemic, or actually the pandemic is what got me back into wrestling. You know who got me back into wrestling? Keith Lee.
Oh shit, Keith
Lee. I got back into wrestling because I saw this dude who was
so agile,
a heavyweight, moving like a cruiserweight. I ain't never seen nobody move like Keith Lee.
Oh, Keith Lee is
he's
undeniable.
Amazing.
I'm not familiar with him. I'll have to look.
So he's this massive dude. Like we talking like
Bam Bam Bigelow.
But yeah, like
He's
Bam
bigger
Bam
than
Bigelow's
Bam
a
Bam.
great. What's
Bigger
that?
than Bam Bam.
He's bigger than Bam Bam,
bigger
but
than
like,
Bam Bam.
but great example of a big guy who can do flips. He's almost like Brody Lee in the sense of size, but he can move. He can really move, and he can flip, and he can do all sorts of amazing stuff. I miss seeing Keith Lee regularly on TV.
One of the greatest to ever be kind of shafted by the politics of this industry ever, and I'll leave it at that. But like people like that is what brought me back to pro wrestling, because from the PG era all the way up until right before the pandemic or right around the pandemic, I didn't watch pro wrestling.
Right.
I didn't watch for years until when's the first show you gave us tickets, Johnny?
The first show was Big Business when Mercedes Moné debuted, and then the first one after that was 2024, early 2024 in New Hampshire.
So I've been only watching AEW since Moné's first appearance, and I'm wicked hooked now. But I haven't watched since the 80s, honestly. But
it's a golden age for it, though. You know what I mean? It's come back pretty strong. The products out there are quality. They're doing things that and it's at a point where they're elevating each other, but it's almost like it's too much where they're like on the same day. Like that, they got to stop doing that. They got to stop fighting each other and just start counter programming each other. So that way everybody wins. Yeah,
probably.
But that's enough said about that.
Yeah,
I was going to say, we could talk all night about wrestling. I just want to make sure we hit the time, but I also want to make sure that people know where to get Greydon's work.
Yeah,
that's the other important thing. That's why I mentioned Comic-Cons. So people can get your books at Comic-Cons, but say like Joe Schmo off the street wants to buy a book. How can they find you, and how can they find the work?
So majesticcomics.shop or majesticcomics.com are both places where Majestic Comics everywhere on social media. And at the beginning of this year, I would expect that our marketplace and economy for our project will be up, so that we have another sort of digital platform to allow people to sort of experience the comics on. But yeah, majesticcomics.shop, majesticcomics.com are both places that you can find us. And then of course our Discord. We have we have a Patreon, patreon.com/majesticcomics, and then we have a Discord that's associated with that. So that's probably the best way to find us. Otherwise, like I said, we're outside. So we go to all the conventions. We try to get to as many conventions as we possibly can. So
I love that you hit the streets like that. Do you have shows coming up?
We're just at Phoenix Fan Fusion. I plan on being at Star Trek Las Vegas next year, and Dragon Con in Atlanta next year. Trying to think if there's anything on. I think there's one in Denver that we're trying to make as well, which is the one in Denver. It's like Denver Fan
Expo, maybe Fan Expo Denver. Yeah.
Denver, that's the one. Yeah, we're supposed to be doing that one. And it could be a different combination of us each time. It could be myself and Joseph. It could be myself and one of the other writers, or me and Tombstone, or Tombstone and Joseph. Like, we've had different combinations of us being there. So
I love that. I love that you can remix the team any which way, and you all show up and you do the thing. That's really dope.
Yeah, I love our team.
I got a question
with you. I wouldn't be anything without them.
I met Nichelle Nichols one time, and I had like a photo op with her. And she said, "Oh, do the Star Trek greeting thing, the hand thing." I'm like, I can't. At the time, I couldn't separate my fingers that way. I'm like, I can do it now, kind of, whatever. But I'm like, I can't do it. So she had to hold my hand. Yeah, she should have hold my hand open like that to do that thing. But I got a question for you. I know you have some very strong feelings about Seth MacFarlane and the Orville. I heard you ranting. I heard you ranting about that on a different podcast. So can we hear why about your disdain for the show and Seth?
So my thing is like,
I'd be curious, because I actually like that show. I thought it was
I kind of liked it too, but I want to hear.
I thought it was more Star Trek than the Paramount stuff that's out right now.
I'm curious to hear the hot take.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. Yeah, I'd love to hear your take on it, Greydon.
So,
and you can swear. On the show.
Yeah. So okay. There's a couple of reasons why I don't really like him or really the shows that he's sort of a part of, because I think there's certain things, and I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole here on, politics or anything like that. But I think there's things that one side can get away with that if the other side would do it, they would point it out and be like, look how terrible this is, right? If we were actively making jokes about, things that would get you demonetized, depending on which side of the political aisle you're on is going to depend on who's going to be outraged. And there are things that he said that hit incredibly close to home in my personal experience with just growing up in the system, where it's like, bro, you play with that, you make jokes about that because you've been so far removed from that, you can, and that's fine, but I don't really rock with that. And
so is it more? Is it more personally that you don't like him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's way more personally that I don't like him. I think the show Orville itself, I mean, I find it to be a bit derivative and the humor to be a bit sort of like elementary. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a bad show. I don't think it's a badly produced show. And I think what annoys me about the Orville is this constant idea or this constant perpetuated idea that it's somehow better than the new Star Trek that's out there, and I completely disagree. I mean, I don't think it's better at all.
Gotcha.
I think the thing with the Orville. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you, Harry. I was just gonna say, I think the thing with the Orville and why it hit with so many people is that when it came out, there wasn't much Star Trek out there. Right, so it was kind of like it just kind of quenched the thirst a little bit, but it never really kind of stepped in fully for Star Trek in that way.
No, and it should have, because it was what we should have gotten with a Galaxy Quest TV show, right? We should have gotten a Galaxy Quest TV show, right? Which was like with Tim Tim, what's his name?
Tim
Allen.
Yeah.
Tim Allen.
We should have got that, and we didn't. Instead, we got the Orville. And, if Seth MacFarlane would have done the Galaxy Quest TV show, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Like, I don't have a problem with the concept of doing a parody of Star Trek, because if you ask the Star Trek cast, they wish they would have been able to do a parody of Star Trek. So I don't think anybody has an issue.
I mean, you can tell
Star Trek.
You can tell he's a big fan. He's a fan of Star Trek too. I mean, that's why I think he did so. I mean, I like the show. I understand your take, but it's I think you can tell he's a fan also. Otherwise he wouldn't have been able to get it almost to be that good. As good as it was. Or is, I don't know if it's still on anymore. Is it still?
I think it's
canceled
over.
now. I mean,
well, he kind of had an ending, and I don't think they're going to do more. It's been a while.
Nobody picked him up.
Yeah, I think Joe's actually in the back room. If you want to let him in.
Yeah, well, both Joe and Ron are here as well too.
Okay. We can slide right into the next one.
Yeah, Greydon, if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to stay with us.
Dude,
okay,
that's awesome.
Can
We'd
we
love
beam
to have
them
you stick
aboard?
around. And if you have to exit, just exit gracefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just let us know if you have to go, and we'll give you like a final plug before you leave or something.
Definitely.
But yeah, if you want to hang out with us.
Well, and one real quick last shout out to all the audience out there about Greydon. Make sure you go and check out Majestic Comics. Follow Greydon. He's doing such amazing stuff. You're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. We
And
put a
he'll be
link
back here in 2 weeks to promote his secret project.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a link to his comic website in the description of the video if you're watching this tomorrow or at a later date. So check it out. That's where you can support and buy the comic book. All right. Yeah. So we're going to roll right on with the show. And with our second two guests here, we got Joe Arnold and Ron Fortier. So without further ado, let's bring both of these guys in. First, we got Ron Fortier. Is that how you say it, Ron? Is that how you say the last name?
40 is fine.
40 is fine. All right. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks you for taking the time to come on, Ron. We greatly appreciate having you, man.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Joe Arnold. Hey, Joe.
What up, Joe?
What's going on? Wait, can we hear him? Joe, can we hear?
Oh, your audio, Joe. You're a little warbled.
I don't know if I can fix that. Hold on.
Oh, there we go. That sounds a little better.
There we go.
Did it actually do anything? Is it better?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, cool. I'm actually, I don't know where you talked about. I assume you would. I meant to come on with Gray and then do the whole thing, and I didn't realize the start time, so I messed that up. So I'm here now.
Yeah, that's
no worries. And we're lucky we get to see you live sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
That's
gonna do,
really cool.
A piece for Brother Bones. I'm also, I can show later. I can log in. Have some Extropy work that I'm also making some progress.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
we'd love to see both of those.
Yeah, I can show.
Yeah, so it's nice to have both of you on the show. And I was looking at the Kickstarter today. I love that character, Brother Bones. I love that. Like,
so fun. Yeah.
Did you look at Johnny and Harry? Did you look at that Kickstarter today?
I backed the campaign. It looks so amazing.
I saw the Kickstarter and I saw a video on your drawing of Bones. It's pretty cool. Yeah, a cool character. I mean, I don't
like. Go ahead.
Is he? So he's the character is dead, right? Is he like no longer living? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. He's Brother Bones, the undead Avenger.
I love that. Well, so Ron, just so the audience has a baseline on the character, can you pitch the book to us?
Yeah, glad to. I mean, this basically comes out of a couple of loves that I have. I'm a cinephile. I love old movies, Universal horror movies, the old Warner Brothers gangster movies.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to say the last 10, 15, almost 20 years, I've been involved with pulp fiction.
Okay.
My career basically was, as a comic writer, which I've been doing for the past 50 years professionally. But I got involved with pulps about 20 years ago. Always knew their connection with comics. Obviously, comics sprang from the pulps. And the more I got involved with the pulps, the more I began to enjoy that kind of fiction, see its place in American literature, and thought it would be fun to create my own pulp character. All right, my homage to things like the Shadow and the Spider.
Yeah.
So the idea was to create a masked Avenger, and again, playing off that old Warner Brothers gangster movies. But I thought, what if I added an element of horror?
Okay.
So the concept is Cape Noir is a city on the northwest coast circa the mid-1930s. And it's a den of depravity and corruption. And amidst all this are two brothers. They're twins, Jack and Tommy Bonello. And they're the hitmen for the mob boss of Cape Noir, Topper Wilde. Well, as the story progresses, something happens to Tommy during one of their hits where one of his victims, before dying, thanks him for killing them.
Okay.
And he suddenly becomes haunted by this thought that somebody whose life could be so miserable they're grateful to die. And he keeps hearing that thank you over and over as the succeeding weeks go by, to the point where it haunts him so much. What he doesn't realize is he's developed a conscience.
Okay.
He takes off trying to find some peace of mind and goes into a Catholic church to talk to a priest. He basically confesses his life. The priest is stunned by how many people he has destroyed and killed, and goes, "I've never heard a confession like that. I'm not even sure I could help you." At which point Tommy says, "Well, I guess nobody can." And the old padre says, "Well, whoa, don't rush. I didn't say, I said I might not help you, but I believe I know someone who can." He ends up sending Tommy to this monastery outside of Cape Noir, where he meets this brother monk, and they accept him into their monastery and give him a brand new life. Okay, so now launching pad, Tommy's gone, brother Jack, boss Wild are going nuts. What happened to Tommy Bonello? They start assuming he's been killed by a rival mob. ultimately, and this is like the opening couple pages of this whole story, but
oh my god,
I was gonna say, what a grand story.
The kicker is Jack's going to find out where Tommy is. He's incensed by what his brother has done, goes to the monastery, and kills Tommy, his own brother.
Oh, wow.
Tommy's soul is now someplace else, purgatory, whatever you want to call it, but he's not allowed to go to hell, where he rightly deserves to be, because the fates intervene and basically tell him he is going back to Earth to make atonement for his life of sin. And now he's back in Cape Noir as a zombie. His body is deteriorating. He finds a white skull mask, puts it over his face, and becomes Brother Bones, the undead avenger, there to protect the innocent and make up for his life of crime. That's the opening chapter, my friends.
Oh, wow.
That is amazing.
Great.
There's so many things that I thought about that I feel like, inspiration can be drawn from as you were pitching that. I was like, there's a little bit of Cain and Abel in there. There's
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yeah. There's a little bit of like a Faustian deal, Spawn kind of thing. So many cool aspects to this character.
Yeah. So over the last, I want to say 15 years, I wrote all this was written in prose. I wrote a short novella, which opens up the story, and had it published in a pulp anthology. People enjoyed the characters, so I wrote a second and a third and a fourth. After about 2 years, I had 7 good-sized stories and published them via my own pulp publishing company, Airship 27, as Brother Bones, the Undead Avenger. In the last 15 years, we've put out 6 Brother Bones titles.
Wow.
So he's become very popular in prose. Mm-hmm. Over those 15 years, we did a few short comics scripts. We did a 48-page short, graphic novel, if you will. Again, just adventures of Brother Bones. We had a role-playing outfit, Scalcrow Games, run by Glenn Bain, do a role-playing module for pulp role-playing based on the world of Brother Bones. Wow. And in the last 10 years, over a period of about 5 years between the two, we actually had 2 small independent film companies, one from Seattle, another from Oklahoma, who optioned the property and attempted to make these B movies. Unfortunately, some of them got as far as casting. We had characters playing the parts or whatever, but they just couldn't get the funding, and that's as far as it went. Now, follows this through. The last group, we sat down and we're looking at all the Brother Bones stories, and they came back to me and said, well, obviously we want to do the origin story, but it isn't going to run long enough to give us 90 minutes. All right. I said, well, why don't you look at the second story? In the second story, he goes up against a werewolf. They read that and said, wow, that's cool. I said, well, why don't you give me a couple of weeks? Let me combine the plot, see if I can add scenes, mix things around, and give you a basic plot outline for a 90-minute film using both stories. So I incorporated the werewolf story into the origin story. Okay. We ended up, myself and this production guy, writing a screenplay, which was, again, one of the things for the company that came the closest to doing this. All right. Now, both film projects, are gone, kaput. I'm sitting around for a couple of years, and one afternoon I pull up the screenplay, and I'm thinking, I've done the short comic book scripts, but I've never done a full blown out complete origin story of Brother Bones as a comic.
Oh, okay.
All right. I take the screenplay and over a period of 2 weeks, changed it into a comic script. Again, it sits in the files collecting dust until 2 years ago, and Joe can correct me if he wants. Joe and I are together at a convention in Denver. We're sitting across from each other at this aisle. Joe had done a 6-page Brother Bones short for me years ago. Got published in a black and white comic. And so somewheres in the middle of the day, Joe yells over to me across the aisle, "So, Ron, what do you got going?" So I looked at him, just kidding. I said, "Well, I've got a 133-page Brother Bones graphic novel collecting dust in my files." Okay. Joe goes, "Really? I'd like to do that."
The rest is history.
Which is exactly what he said, to the point where I said, "Hey, do not pull my leg here, okay? I really don't jerk me around, all right?" And he's like, "No, I like this character. I really like Brother Bones.
I can see why. He's such a dynamic looking character. I love that. Like,
well, anyways, after that weekend, I remembered Joe's comments, and I sent him a digital copy of the actual, the script. Joe got back to me and immediately started doing sketches and drawings and whatever. And I got to tell you guys, okay, I've had maybe a half a dozen comic artists illustrate Brother Bones for me. All right. One of them being my partner in the publishing venture, artist Rob Davis. But as Joe was doing the sketches and the pages, we started debating this whole thing about, well, is this going to be black and white or is this going to be color? And Joe comes back and says, "I think we should do it in black and white, especially since your inspiration is these universal, horror movies, the gangster movies." And he goes, "I can grayscale this." I went, "All right. I'm a little skeptical, but show me, right? Show me." Joe sends me like 10 pages, the first 10 pages of the script in complete grayscale, right? I about fell out of my chair, guys. I'm telling you, okay, it was like, you want to talk about sometimes the fates just line up, it's kismet. I have now seen 53 pages of this thing that Joe has done. We were lucky enough to get Mike Belcher, another friend and great comic artist, to do the lettering for us. It's absolutely beautiful. But in looking at those 53 pages, there's no doubt in my mind that this project was meant for Joe from day one. I can't now envision anybody else doing it.
Are we cheating here though? Is there any cool grays being used? Is it strictly is it strictly black and white or gradient, or is it cool gray?
You get
that's getting too technical in the art side.
Yeah.
We're getting too deep in the weeds on that one.
Before we go on, does anyone have a cell phone near their microphone? Because I'm getting like feedback.
It's probably me.
Is that me?
I'm getting a little.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Do you hear it now, Johnny?
I do hear it now.
Yeah,
I pointed it out. Now I can't unhear it.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was Morse code or something.
Yeah, right. Someone's sending us a message.
It's not too bad. It's a little bit muted, but it's pretty good. It's tolerable, I'd say. But I was going to say, Keith, can we pull up the campaign page so that people can kind of see what the character looks like? I get such a dark man vibe when I look at it. I love the aesthetic of the character.
Well, I mean, there's a few characters in comics that I can think of that are like skeletons or have a skeleton look. Like
right.
Like the one that I think about all the time is was it Mr. Bones from the DEO? He's like the head of like DC's like spy thing or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, this character looks great. I love anything with like a skeleton kind of. Hang on, let me.
Well, there's the concept behind him having to wear the mask, supposedly, and it plays out in other stories, is that if you remove his mask, anyone who sees his real face instantly goes crazy.
Oh, I love that.
Really?
That's great. That's great.
That is really cool.
And that's actually a pretty cool story technique because you could play with that, right? Like he loses his mask unintentionally in a place full of innocence. How do you get out of that? Like, I love that. I love that aspect. It's almost like a luchador, right? You can't show your face when you're fighting, right? God forbid you lose the mask.
No, there's some of
look at Joe's beautiful art. Like, look at this stuff. Like,
okay, those are grays.
Yeah, it is digital.
Yeah, yeah.
It's digital grayscale. So it is still I'd say at least half of the book is done traditionally, and then I did have to move over to digital just for the time constraints and just to get everything going and just like lifestyle, all that. But yeah, all the grayscale is done digitally. I have a couple of texture brushes. So there's like a pencil texture brush. There's some brush pen type pieces that really give a nice texture. So I can get a little bit of the gradients, but then those look a little too polished and a little too like real. But then with the textures, I can get kind of that film grain noir type aesthetic as well. So.
Hey Joe, I have a question for you. I read that you're in law enforcement for 5 years. Did you ever use your creativity, your drawing ability in your work ever?
I designed a polar bear for the charity Polar Plunge.
Yeah.
No, not really.
but never as a sketch artist, right?
No. That's most of that's done digital now, and actually, there's the technology has gone beyond that in general. So the AI robots are taking all our jobs.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Well, I think out of everybody in this room, I'm the only one that hasn't worked with Joe.
Me. Yeah, that's right. Harry. Well, so if I can rewind back to what was it? Comic-Con 2011, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, or 10.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Yeah.
And I had a spaghetti western that I wanted to tell, and I just didn't know how to do it until I was flipping through Joe's portfolio and I saw some, very Western pages, and he knew how to draw horses. That was the first thing that came. That was like, oh man, this guy can draw a horse.
Has there ever been
he knows what he's doing here.
Has there ever been a spaghetti Western done with about spaghetti? Like
on top of spaghetti.
What is it?
All covered in cheese.
There should be a Western.
I just out tangenced Harry. That's unusual. Ron, if we can circle back around now to the concept, what's the scope of the project? Is this kind of just a one-off, or do you see this as a springboard further into comics?
Well, again,
for the character,
if this flies, okay, the graphic novel obviously could be the foundation for other graphic novels. One of the things that was fun creating Cape Noir was obviously building the inhabitants of and doing my best to use a lot of iconic comic book stuff. I'm a huge fan of the bizarro villains and whatever, and so in Brother Bones, you're going to meet Dr. Bugosi, who's the mad scientist of Cape Noir. And in one of the stories of Cape Noir, these are all collected in short stories. You won't see it in the graphic novel, all right? But there was another mobster named Harry Beast, Beest, all right? And who had the misfortune of crossing paths with Topper Wilde. Basically, he seduced his teenage daughter.
Don't give everything away.
Wasn't happy. Had him captured and given over to Professor Bugosi. He didn't want him killed. He wanted him to suffer for what he did, deflowering his young princess. So Bugosi,
that's very old school. That you don't see that in story plots anymore.
He literally went and got a silverback gorilla from a traveling circus, cut out Beast's brain, and put it in the silverback gorilla.
Wow.
Beast eventually escapes, puts his gang back together again, and he's Harry Beast, the gorilla mobster of Cape Noir.
I love that.
We see these characters in the graphic novel, but that story isn't really fleshed out or told in this particular graphic novel. So should the origin story of Brother Bones and the concept of Cape Noir and what it's about fly and become successful, then arguably that could be our sequel next project.
Oh, nice! Awesome. I can even see it, like, you know, the gorilla with the zoot suit on, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, Thompson machine gun in his hand, cigar in his mouth. Oh, he is fun to write. Let me tell you, he is a ball to write.
There's probably a little bit of Joe Fix-It flavor there, right? When Hulk is Joe Fix-It. I love that.
I was looking at. Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
No. Go on.
I was going to say I was looking at Ron's early career in comics, and I was like impressed by the resume there, because it looks like some of your earliest stuff was for Now Comics.
Like Green
Hornet. Now was wrote the Green Hornet and Terminator and all this other awesome stuff. I remember that when I was a kid. I was just getting into the comics in the mid '80s, and I remember like Now Comics like having an impression. I think I have some of those old Green Hornets that you probably wrote in my collection, which is amazing. So I wanted to ask you about that. Like, so you had pulp in your life even way back then.
I did. It's really weird, you know, how those things all come back, you know, in different threads or whatever. Doing the Green Hornet was a blast. I worked with artist Jeff Butler on that strip, and I did it for about 2.5 years for Now, and it was a rush. I mean, doing the Green Hornet comic, I like the character. Whenever I get a project that I'm going to be working on a licensed property, all right, something that's come before me, I like to say I do my homework, I do my research, I really study the property, the characters, who's done these things before and whatever, and then jump into it. Well, in writing the Green Hornet, I mean, if you know the concept from the 60s television show with Van Williams and Bruce Lee, and going back to the early radio days where he actually got his start from WXYZ in Detroit, the Green Hornet basically disguised himself as a criminal mastermind so that he could get in with the bad guys. But the DA was in on this with him, and that was the point. So not only is he being, you know, fighting other bad guys, but the public at large also thinks he's a bad guy. He's not your typical hero, right? The Mask Avenger. No, he's supposedly a masked outlaw, and everybody's chasing him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, after setting up the concept, because what we did was we did this legacy series where we literally tied him into the radio Green Hornet. Then the generations went down to the TV Hornet until ultimately here we are in the late 80s, early 90s, and our modern day version, which is like the great grandnephew of the original Green Hornet. Okay. We get the origin story done. The first couple issues spell all this out, at which point I realized I'm writing a crime comic. This is exactly what I'm doing, all right? So now the challenge becomes every issue after the origin is for Ron to come up with a crime that the Hornet has to stymie or stop, all right? Which is a twisted thing when you're a writer. I mean, I later remember watching the Nate Fillion TV series, right, Castle, where he used to start off every week going, you know, I have to write murder mysteries. Well, I have to come up with these murders. And it just made me chuckle because I was doing the exact same thing when I was writing the Green Hornet. I was writing these bizarre, twisted criminal acts, all right, that, you know, somebody would try to pull off and get away with, but ultimately be defeated by the Green Hornet. So it was a fun experience. And at the same time, you know, we're going to talk about, it was definitely the highlight. It got me into the pros, you know, right off the bat. And prior to getting that from Now originally hired me to pick up on doing the Terminator.
Yeah, because I saw that you worked with Alex Ross on that.
Yeah, well,
that's amazing.
That's
one of my favorites.
Hey, I have the distinct honor of saying I wrote Alex Ross's first ever comic project.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's just amazing right there.
I had been writing the series for just about a year, and one day get a call from the editor down in Chicago in Now Comics, who basically says, don't bother turning in the next script because our lawyers are looking at the contract, and our contract with, I think it was Coralco Pictures or whatever, have expired. Okay, well, I'm writing both Terminator and Green Hornet, 2 monthlies for them. So, okay, I lost the Terminator. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I'm still doing the Green Hornet. Okay, done. The very next day, she calls me back and says, there's been a change of plans. Okay, how so? Well, we looked at it and we realized we can still do 5 more issues. Okay. And she says, so the boss, i.e. the publisher, wants you to forego the current storyline and give us a 5-issue wrap-up of the Terminator storyline. Okay, now while we're talking, right, she's telling me this, I'm going, okay, so they basically want us to defeat Skynet. By then, I'd already introduced John Connors and his gang of rebels and his army. So we've been doing that. And I went, all right, okay, so what if the CPU for Skynet was located in a mountain base in Colorado? And Connors finds out where it is. It's been the one thing he's been chasing after all along. Destroy the CPU, you destroy Skynet. Okay, 5 issues to do this. We're going to call it Terminator Burning Earth.
Okay.
I rip off this just like I'm telling you guys. She loves it. Start writing the script. Oh, and one other thing. I said, okay, what? She goes, well, the regular artist you were working with quit. They'd called him the day before, told him the same thing, and he didn't want to come back. Okay. I mean, for his own reasons. I said, oh, all right. She goes, but she goes, we've got this new kid. He came in here last week or whatever, right? He just graduated from the Chicago Institute of Art. And you're not going to believe this, but he paints comics.
Oh, wow.
Well, he paints comics. She goes, oh, yeah. She goes, look, she said, you just start writing the script. And she goes, just get the first one to me as fast as you can. All right. I have no clue what that's about. So I sit down and I write the first script. Now, over the years, I've realized in talking with other comic writers that when you write and you work with a partner, if you know that partner, that artist's strengths and weaknesses, you adapt your writing to that, to what their strengths and weaknesses are. All right. Whereas if you've never worked with a certain partner, you tend to overwrite, or at least I do. Initially, the first few scripts I'll give a new artist I'm working with, I mean, they look like little, tiny, telephone books, only because I am giving them more than what they need. Fully aware the artist is going to visually edit as he draws the pages and panels, which I don't direct. That's his job, or her job. So the first issue of, I think, Burning Earth came down to something like 40 pages. I send that into the company and start working on issue number 2. 2 days after I sent the script in, my editor calls me back up again, and she goes, the kid just came in with the first couple of pages of your script. And I said, what's this guy's name anyway? She goes, oh, Alex Ross. I said, all right. She goes, turn on your fax machine. Now, understand, this is like, I don't know, 89, 90 or whatever. And I've got a black and white fax machine, right? And I turn it on, it comes on, and out come these 3 pages rolling off the pages. My wife hears this and walks up behind me, and I'm lifting up the pages and I'm looking at them, and remembering everything I wrote in those expositions, right? Oh, yeah, there he is. There he is. Oh,
I sent some links to the private chat, Keith, if you want to pull up some high res.
Yeah.
So, just look at the beautiful work that Alex Ross did on Terminator. Making the chrome come to life, the fire, all that stuff. My phone isn't doing it justice right now.
Yeah, hang on.
I'm looking at those Xerox pages, whatever, and I just going because everything is there. Everything in the panels is as I wrote it. He left nothing out. My wife goes, so what do you think? I says, I don't have to write big scripts anymore. This kid knows what he's doing. The second issue was like, the second script was like 22 pages. That's what it took me to write, like, 20 some odd pages or whatever, which is primarily, this is what happens, this is what happened. And
oh my
just
God, I
let it run
remember
wild.
this cover. Holy
Oh,
shit.
I mean,
I
hey,
do
look.
remember this. Wow. Hang on.
Ron, let me ask you, like, so Alex Ross plays in this really photorealistic style. Do you feel like when you started seeing these pages, you felt kind of invigorated by it to the point where like it almost helped you boost your creativity, so to speak?
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, I was seeing pages from number 1 when I was, starting to write script number 3. Again, this is a 5-issue miniseries, all right? And there had been thoughts of some characters that I wanted to do. And up until this point, even in the films, we hadn't seen any female Terminators.
That's right.
This is the I remember this cover.
This was something that I thought about doing. Well, after seeing Alex's Ross and understanding what he could do with that, I had absolutely no problem giving, hopefully, the world the first female Terminator, which appears in that particular issue, the cover you've got right there. And believe me, during the course of writing it, he called me. True story. He calls me, I think, along about the time he turned in all the pages for issues 1, 2, and 3. He's in the middle of drawing number 4, and I get a call from him one night. And first time we ever talked. And he goes, I've got a problem. And I went, okay, what's the problem? He goes, they're not paying me, meaning Now Comics. Okay. Now, time goes by, you'll hear all kinds of horror stories about this. Let me clue you. Okay. I do not know a single comic book creator, writer, or artist who ever worked with now who didn't at one time or another get a lawyer and sue them to get their money, yours truly included. Welcome to the comic world, Mr. Ross.
Yeah, right.
It's still happening. That's the sad thing.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just glad that they didn't like ruin him. And he,
well, here's the thing I wanted to point out. So now he says to me, he goes, I told him, I said, man, I am sorry you are getting this kind of an education this fast. I says, Alex, I says, your work is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. You need to keep doing this. I says, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to give you advice. This is you. This is about you. All right. And he comes back and said, I'm not going to quit. It's the last thing I want to do. All right. Okay. He said, the first couple issues are out there now. And he goes, I don't want a reputation as somebody who quits. He says, I'm just calling to let you know what's happened, and I'm going to finish the series. I'm going to finish 4 and 5. It's been a pleasure working with you, Ron, and just so you know. And he did. He honored his commitment. He finished it, all right? I got one of the most frustrating things in my life in this period, after hanging up with him and thinking about this, I knew so few people in the industry as far as DC or Marvel. I hadn't worked with them at all up until this point. And so I was like reaching out to as many people, what few contacts I had, trying to tell them about this kid. Later, I end up going to the San Diego Con about a year later or whatever, right? And I run into Kurt Busiek. Okay. And while we're talking, Kurt looks at me and goes, oh, you're the guy who did Terminator with Alex Ross. And I said, I am. He goes, well, he says, I just hooked up with him and he and I are doing something for Marvel. Oh, I swear I could have hugged him. I could have hugged Kurt right there and then. Right?
That's where he blew up, right? With Marvel.
Right. He did Marvels. He did Marvels. Wow. And off he went. So another year, 2 years goes by, and I'm at a convention in Pennsylvania. And Alex is one of the primary guests there that year. I was there with a small independent company from Maine called Alpha Productions. And first day we're setting up, I turn around and here comes Alex over. Hey, Ron. We shook hands, and one and only time we ever met. But I mean, the man's a gentleman. He's skilled. I knew he was going to blow this industry, up, and he did. He absolutely did. He's just gotten better and better over the years. I watch his videos online and I just smile. I am really so happy. But hey,
he's like the Norman Rockwell of today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
We just found out that Ron's the godfather of the Marvel's comic series. Yeah, you planted the bug that made it happen, Ron. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's I knew that I didn't know that it was Alex. Well, I saw that you'd worked with Alex Ross, but I wanted to know that history. That's amazing.
That's a wonderful story.
I'm sad that like it sounds like he's become like kind of like an agoraphobic from what I've heard. Like he doesn't do a lot of conventions anymore, or it's very.
Well, I would, you know what? I think
he's earned that.
I think that's the dark side of celebrity. Probably, I think
maybe
you can get so famous that people don't leave you alone.
Yeah,
at all. Fair. All right, and I don't wonder if he endures some of that.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, right. Harry, you have to contend with that every time you leave the house.
I know.
I will say one of my favorite pieces ever by Alex Ross was when he drew all the Alex Toth, Hanna-Barbera's World of Super Adventure characters all in one like image. One of my, I'm like tearing up thinking about it right now. It's like one of my favorite images he ever did. So good.
I mean, yours truly. I mean, hey, I love Marvels. I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of Kingdom Come.
Okay.
I think it was way too busy. All right, but later DC was smart enough to hire Paul Dini, and the two of them did those life-size.
Those treasury books
of Captain Marvel, of Superman, of Wonder Woman.
Those are amazing.
And boy, did his art shine in those. It is spectacular. Every page was like a poster. Absolutely, amazing.
And now he does mostly covers for Marvel. I see every once in a while.
Yeah, and Dynamite hired him over the last few years and whatever. And hey, he gets, I mean, whatever they pay him is worth every bloody penny. Come on, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if you're gonna go for the best, like Alex Ross is the best right now. Yeah, hands down.
Speaking I was gonna say, speaking of origin stories, didn't you, Ron, wrote the origin story of Popeye?
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking. Here we go.
Here we go. I'm ready for this one. Buckle up, people.
Highlight reel. Okay. I mean, I go from working with a kid named Alex Ross to a couple years prior to that, actually writing a Popeye origin story. Which, if nothing else, okay, I'll give you guys two little tidbits that you can use in a bar trivia question game some night. Okay. Number one, what's the name of Popeye's mother, which I got to invent?
Cool.
Popeye's. Oh,
right.
Never heard this one. Never heard this one.
Yeah. When I was hired to write this particular comic, it was for a small little company out of Rhode Island called Ocean Comics.
Okay.
And they had gotten the okay from King Features. They got the rights, and the publisher was an old friend. Called me up out of the blue and said, "Hey, how would you like to write a Popeye comic?" I mean, come on, out of left field, all right? I mean, the last thing in the world I ever expected to do. And I like, then he was like 75 years old. I said, he's been done to death, cartoons and newspapers and everything else. So the publisher says, well, don't say no yet. Think about it, all right? Said, all right. So after talking to him, I go to the local library because this was pre-internet stuff. Okay. So I go to the library and I ask the librarian, you have anything on American comics? And, again, thank the good Lord and Providence. They had a copy of Jules Pfeiffer's American Cartoonist. And in that book was an entire chapter devoted to Elsie Segar and Popeye. So I'm sitting in the library taking notes about Popeye, and lo and behold, find out his father's Poop Deck Pappy Kid, Kidd. All right. Yeah. But no mention of his mother. All right. And again, no mention of what his real name is. Okay. So the old mind starts percolating. All right. Those creative juices are going big time. Until I called the publisher the following day and said, all right, here's the caveat. I will write this comic for you if I'm allowed to write the origin story of Popeye. And he goes, okay. He goes, well, let me call King Features. Now, honestly, I'm thinking they're going to say no way, and I'm off the book, and I can just go on my merry way. He calls me back 20 minutes and he says, they don't care. Go ahead and do it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So what you did in this comic, is it considered canon in the Popeye universe? Is it?
Oh, it is now. I mean, since it's been out, totally. So, and I get it. I have to tip my hat. The guy Ocean Comics went to get to illustrate this was none other than a young publisher, editor, artist from Texas named Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press.
Antarctic, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal.
So wait, they published this story, or
Ocean Comics published it?
Okay, and then what did they get Ben for?
He was the artist.
Oh wow!
I was the writer. Ben was the artist. All right. So here's the idea, guys. L.C. Segar says in the original Popeye comic strips, he was born in a typhoon off the coast of Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Okay. So we open up the comic with a ship floundering in a typhoon off the coast, and Poop Deck's on top, wrestling the wheel, while below his wife is screaming she's going to have the baby. And he's going, no, wait till we get the dock. Wait till we get the dock. But nope. A big wave hits them and crashes them across on the shore. Okay. His wife is Roxanne Crusher, a roller derby queen. What else are you going to have for a tough guy like Popeye, right? Now, Poop Deck wakes up the next morning, the sun's shining, and he looks over, and there's this scow over on the side on the beach. And he starts running towards it. Roxy, are you all right? And he hears a baby crying. So he starts climbing up the side of the ship and still yelling her name. Remember now, again, do your homework. Segar said Poop Deck was a contrary soul. That's old English for he was a pessimist. Anything, if you saw him on the street and said it's a beautiful day, he'd probably come back with, oh, looks like it's going to rain.
Okay.
Opposites. Yeah. All right. He climbs to the top of the boat. And I tell Ben in my description, I need you to draw me the most angelic baby the world has ever seen. This baby has to be so beautiful, people will cry. And sure enough, you open up and there's this huge splash panel over Poop Deck's back, two hands holding up this beautiful baby. And Poop Deck looks at his new son and goes, "Egad, he's ugly." And so he calls his son Ugly Kid.
Okay.
Which is why years later in going to school, everybody makes fun of him, including a fellow schoolmate named Bluto, who in the middle of a fight knocks out one eye. And Popeye, i.e. Ugly Kid. So there you go.
Wow. That's amazing.
Now, did he get his forearms from his mother or his dad?
Excuse me?
Did Popeye get his forearms from his mother or his dad?
No, the forearms came from Poop Deck. Ultimately, what happens, though, is Roxy's not, Poop Deck deserts them. That's out of the classics anyways. So she's left alone. She's not the best mother in the world. And one day while at the supermarket, she's got him in the cart, and they have a sale on spinach.
I was just going to say, those arms are built on spinach.
Kind of full of spinach, and that's how he gets hooked on that. And then
I love it.
And then ultimately what we did was we basically had him join the Navy right out of high school. And that's where he learns to become a sailor. In the Navy, he meets Wimpy, and Bluto shows up again, and they're all on the same ship and whatever. And we carry on their adventures from then on.
That's really cool. What an amazing story. Did
I
anyone else ever acknowledge the stuff that you added to the backstory? Like, did you see it in any other comics or shows or anything? Or
I've talked with other people. I'm going to tell you this is a surprise to me, all right? Because a couple of stories about Popeye, you'll all get a kick out of it, right? And I'll start with the best one of all. This book had been out, and it was a small company, all right? We did two of them. I did a second story with them when their ship goes to Australia for the 200th anniversary of the country of Australia. But the kicker is it was a limited run, it was a small company, so those books get out. They're out for maybe a year, and one day out of the blue, I get an email from Tim Sale.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Tim Sale goes, I'm told you wrote a Popeye origin story. Do you have any copies left? And so I find out Tim Sale and a lot of other people are huge Popeye fans in this world. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
People know it's out there. I still get people, talking to me about it and then joking about it and whatever. But the strangest story of all right, is one day I go, this again, maybe 6 months, 7 months after I was done with them. I go to the post office one day and have a manila envelope, made out to me with no return address. All right. I come home, I open up the manila envelope and I look in it and it looks like confetti.
Okay.
So I start pulling it out and I realize it's a comic book ripped to shreds. And it's the Popeye comic book. And amidst it is a little 5x7 card that read, "You are going to hell for what you did to Popeye."
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, that's wild.
Well, that must be why the characters endured this long, right? Like it's got this passionate fan base.
There's a deep-seated passionate fan base for that.
You all, I'm sure you all know, who the late Don Thompson was. And back in those days, when that issue came out, he and Maggie was still doing the Comic Buyer's Guide, the newspaper for the industry that came out every week.
Yep.
And they actually reviewed it. And God bless Don. Don basically wrote and said, doesn't look like any other Popeye I've seen, but kudos to Ron and Ben, because it is Popeye. They kept the essence. This is who the character is. And I mean, by then I had a PC and I'm writing the scripts and I'm murdering the English language, and autocorrect kept fighting me all the way through doing the script.
I can only imagine writing Popeye dialogue and just autocorrect. Oh God.
I get to San Diego that year, and the first thing I do is go find Don to thank him for his kind words in his review. And Don was such a great guy. And I told him the story about the confetti ripped up in the card. And he goes, "Oh yeah." He says, "You got to watch out, Ron, as a comic writer, because there were many people off their meds who take this stuff way too seriously. Way too serious."
Well, so I think I just put a connection together. You mentioned in your story, your Terminator story, that you had Skynet in a mountain range in Colorado, right? I think
Correct.
Wasn't that the plot in the third film? Didn't they end up in the mountain range?
At the end, John Connor goes there. Yeah.
Right. So, like, clearly your work's permeated into the actual film canon, which I think is awesome in that regard.
I mean, if you get a hold of that miniseries, and Dark Horse later collected it a couple of years back. Okay. Dark Horse got a hold of Ross and his people, and they got some really brilliant scans of the original pages he'd done.
Wow.
And collected it as a graphic novel. All right. And I'm talking maybe 3 years ago, and were decent enough to give me a call. They asked me to write a new introduction for it, which I did.
Oh, awesome.
And if you look, if you could ever get a copy of just the first issue alone, keeping this in mind, all right, when I started writing Burning Earth, I had spent a lot of time watching my videotape of the first Terminator movie, the one and only at that time.
Yeah.
Right? We hadn't seen the second yet. And so, I mean, I'm focusing on basically what's only like 5 minutes in the film, which is that look into the future, where we see them fighting Connors and his army. And from that, I extrapolate and start writing the start of Burning Earth issue 1 in the middle of one of those battle sequences. And I literally have a pickup truck with guys in it with a machine gun shooting down these, airplanes, these automatic drones that Skynet controls over this battlefield. All right. I think it's like 6 or 7 months later, Terminator 2 comes out.
Okay.
My wife and I go to see it. We're sitting in the theater. The lights come on. And what's the scene you see? A battle, a pickup truck, guys in the back. My wife turned around and said, "Nobody's going to convince me Cameron didn't read your comic book."
100%. 100%.
That's
we were doing storyboards for him. What can I say? All right.
Yeah, right. That's pretty much what it was, right?
that's amazing.
I was going to say, before we run into our next guest, I wanted to actually circle just back around to the campaign. And I just wanted to, Keith, if you could bring that up again real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe or Ron, if you want to kind of recommend a tier for people or something that would be, ideal, the best option when backing Brother Bones on the campaign page.
You get the envelope of confetti.
I'll let Joe handle that.
Yeah, so this is actually the first Kickstarter that I have officially built and managed. So this is kind of new for me, having to be brave. Cool. I set a bunch of different tiers. So I don't know if you want to go to the rewards. There's $4 PDF. That's kind of just the gimme thing. I think probably end up giving a PDF to all the physical backers as well, just because it doesn't really cost me anything. And then I did the cover. That's then the promo image that you're seeing there. We also have Rob Davis, who's worked with Ron for many years, doing an alternate cover on that, and that's a really awesome other version. So the physical copy, we're looking at about 40 pages. I think we're just going to keep adding bonus. We're going to keep adding stuff to this. So it's going to be like 52 pages of just the baseline, because we're going to add a couple extra stories. So the original script that Ron did was 130 pages, chopping that up into 4 issues. Already have the first issue illustrated and ready, and getting
well, I gotta say, $10 is a steal for a comic.
$10 is good. Well, I don't have to. I'm paying myself to make it. So there's going to be bonus material. So that is going to be a bigger book. I'm going to have some of the some screenshots of Ron's script, a bit of my thumbnails for the script, and then some of the character concepts and stuff. That right there, including the traditional pieces. I'm doing 4 pieces right now, unless we get a whole ton of people, and I will make some more, like kind of like maybe a stretch goal.
Check out these pages right here. Look at this page. Look at that artwork right there. It is beautiful.
So this is one I just drew. I'm trying to. Sorry, I got lag on my laptop that I'm watching over there. I did this one a couple days ago, and then this was the first one I was doing on that, and then this will be the next one, which it's blue. You can't see it very well, but it is what it is. So there's the traditional pages. I set so Rob and I both are going to be giving 6 pages of the actual boards as one of the higher tiers. So that would be the $100 tier.
Wow, and that's really a great price for original art too,
right?
Holy shit!
I mean,
yes,
and
so
the art's
there's
beautiful. Like that's a bargain.
Yeah, 110. So you get an original page from one of us, and then so we have 6 on those. I think we have 3 or 4 maybe on. So those are Rob's pages, and then I have my pages that I also put up there, and then I think the $15 tier is the bonus content. That's probably that would be the sweet spot, because how many of those are only one left of the original. Wow, so that's pretty awesome. The $15 is going to be that one, or the limited quantities of the traditional pieces. But it's going to be more than worth it, and all the money is moving towards the next book. It's going to be 4 books, and I have most of the work on the second book done, and I'll have to start getting on the 3rd issue and then the 4th. But I wanted to get kind of head start on this. Ron and I had talked about it for a while, kind of putting a little buffer on there. So
very cool.
My shtick.
Yeah, it looks great. Let me share the link again back into the chat. Also, if you're watching this show tomorrow, link is in the description of the video. Check it out. 2 great creators and a project that definitely worth your money big time. So this looks awesome, especially if you're a fan of pulp, and all the stories Ron's been telling tonight have been gold. So I mean,
so great,
good stuff,
love
man.
It. Love it.
You guys are welcome to stay if you want. Just like Greydon, if you guys want to stay, and as we bring our 3rd guest in, up to you. If you got to go,
I'm going to call it a night, gentlemen. I got a few years on all of you. My wife is like, "What are you doing in there now?" Right? Okay.
Tell her you're coming up with more Popeye origin stuff.
Gonna go join her for a couple hours before we call it a day. Again, thanks for having us on board.
Yeah, Ron.
Thank you.
What I'll probably do, actually, with all these great stories you've told us, I'll probably clip them later on and release them as separate episodes on the channel.
By all means. I mean, Joe and I realize how crowded, the whole crowdfunding thing is these days. And, so I've been making a couple personal videos here in the office as well. So helping us get the word out means the world to both of us. We can't thank you guys enough. Really appreciate it. Thanks again. Take care. And
and let me extend to you anytime you have something, either reach out to me or Johnny, and we'll have you on again to promote.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back, Ron.
I will definitely take you up on that.
Awesome, Ron. Nice pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Same here, gentlemen.
Great evening.
Absolutely.
Take care.
All right, we'll see you.
Yep, have a good night.
And then Joe, if you want to stay, you can.
Feel free to stick
for
around,
a little
guys.
bit. I'm just gonna keep working, and if I need to dip out, I can bounce. But
you got it.
Still doing okay over there?
Hey, I was just marveling in his stories. I mean,
isn't that amazing?
Talk all day. I almost felt like we were getting sort of long, short form content. Like everything you said about it being broken up in smaller. Yeah, it's like
the guy
he gave us the full thing.
Yeah, first person to work with Alex Ross. I mean, come on, it's amazing. And then also like the Popeye story was unbelievable.
Amazing.
Hey, I'm talking about Kingdom Come. You're talking about the Kingdom Come art, or is that this?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Ron was the first to work with them on Terminator. Isn't that amazing?
Just the fact that he helped facilitate getting him like in touch with Kurt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right. And like kind of was like, got the whole Marvels thing off the ground.
Unbelievable. It's so awesome.
So let's bring in our third guest before.
I was gonna say, so let me cut so here's the other thing. Graydon, I don't know if Joe, I don't know if you've ever like read something and felt like the creator wrote it specifically for you.
A couple times.
Yeah, but
there might be someone in this room. There might be multiple people in this room.
Well, there you go. But specifically Julius Freeman's book, our next guest, called Ghetto Dragon. I read it and it was like I felt like he wrote it specifically for me. Like he opened up my head and opened up my heart and was like, what's Johnny C's favorite things? And then he put it into a fucking book.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so without further ado,
I can't even do
the one and only
better than that. So I'm just gonna pop him in. Julius,
what's up, man?
Julius, how you doing, everybody?
How you guys doing, man? Good to be back.
Oh yeah,
Good to be back on the show.
How good was that intro?
You in San Diego this year, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't go this year, man. So I gave away my badge to a friend of mine so they could enjoy it. So
your absence was felt.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, do you guys see each other every year at San Diego?
Hell's yeah! Julius comes into the booth and hangs out.
Yeah. Last year we ran into each other. I actually made an effort to find his table because I knew he was there. And so finally, I went by a few times and he wasn't there. So I was like, I'll just come back. And then when I came back and he was there, I was like, finally, I got Johnny.
That's awesome. I didn't know you guys hooked up in San Diego. That's great.
Hell's
It was cool. It was cool to finally meet him in person.
Yeah, hell's yeah. And thanks for coming back on the show, man.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm always excited to come back on the show and talk comics.
Yeah, dude. Oh, absolutely. Julius, you missed some great stories. I
was listening to the whole show. I've been listening to the whole show. Yeah, so I heard the Popeye story. I heard the Alex Ross.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Also, Greydon. I listened to his story and about his friend being, naming himself after the Undertaker, which I thought was pretty badass.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Who's in the chat watching the show?
Yeah, that's cool, dude. Yeah, that was cool, man. I love how you guys, call yourself after Harlem Heat, which was one of my favorite tag teams growing up in WCW.
Yeah.
They were like the best, man. They were like the best tag team. I was like, man, if these guys could make it at the time, if they could make it to WWF, that'd be awesome to see them go against, Legion of Doom, New Age Outlaws, that kind of stuff. But
all that
didn't happen.
Yeah. And to his credit, Tombstone brought me into the comic book space. I wasn't into the comic book space before then. So like as we were making music together as like a tag team. And then he was like, yo, it sounds like you'd be interested in comics. And so I went through this whole phase of just getting introduced to comics because of him.
Yeah. And you know what? Wrestling and comics, hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Hand in
Yeah.
We always say
You
that.
can see it like
Yeah.
just the way we've talked about it all the time, how they write these stories. It's good versus evil.
Yep.
And they fight it out just like a comic book. It's like
and they build up the baby face, they build up the bad guy, and then eventually they have their clash. And depending on the writer, obviously, you either can spread that out as far as you can, or you do a one-off thing and you're set to go.
Yeah,
if you're gonna start using wrestling terms, you've already become my best friend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that from now on.
Well, dude, like you guys, when you mentioned wrestling, and of course I know Johnny and Rick are wrestling fans. Harry, are you a wrestling fan too or not? Or Joe?
I'm 80s. I'm old school.
Old school.
I'm back into it. Like I started getting back into it like a year or two ago.
What about you, Joe? Are you a wrestling fan too?
I had a phase like middle school, high school, but I couldn't stick with it. I got busy.
I stopped watching for a lot of years too, and then it was CM Punk that got me back into wrestling. It was the pipe bomb that he did back in 2013. It went viral, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this guy? I like this guy," So and I started watching it again after that. So I got
into the AEW stuff. Like I don't watch WWE. I just kind of watch AEW. Because I feel like if I open the floodgate on WWE,
you just go right back into it, right?
I won't have anything else but watching wrestling, It's
too much.
It is.
I filter over to WWE only to follow the people that jumped from AEW. And like when I even like the little bit I watch of there, it's too much because then I fall behind on like other shows or actual shit I have to do. Like there literally is too much wrestling at one point.
Yeah,
for real, for sure.
It's too much. So Julius, like I saw that you're bringing back the Ghetto Dragon now.
Yeah,
is it the same? No, is this a new material?
It's a
remaster, right?
It's a remastered.
Yeah,
there you go.
Remaster that you've been working on. Because again, this is one of my favorite books, Julius. For the for Joe and Greydon and all the viewers who are watching tonight, can you kind of bring them on board with Ghetto Dragon and why I love it so much?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty much my love letter to Hong Kong cinema and specifically Bruce Lee. My mom got me into Bruce Lee when I was a little boy, so she was always watched his movies. It never failed. And also it's a little bit of, a slice of my upbringing, growing up in a harsh neighborhood. Or in other words, the ghetto, if you will. And so I kind of just mixed those together, and I also wanted to keep it grounded. And my older brother, who was an active street gangster, when I was about 19, he pretty much found out that I wanted to write stories and I wanted to write comics. So one day he was like, "Hey, how about we sit down and I tell you some stories that you might want to end up in some of your books?" I was like, "Great." And yeah, those few sessions, man. Let me just tell you guys, the gangster life is not as glamorous as Hollywood portrays it to be, based on the stories he's told me.
You got the real deal, unfiltered business.
Oh man, dude, I can't. There's some I can't repeat here. So let's just
Julius, it's like, let me give you some story ideas. Here's some criminal activity that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great was going to ask you a question, Julius. Run that back, Great.
Everybody, but Julius, are you from LA?
I'm from Orange County, Southern California.
Yeah, I recognize it immediately, bro. When you start talking about that gangster, I'm from Compton.
So there you go. So you know what's up.
I'm already knowing, bro. Like as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, this dude's from LA. Like, I know Orange County. I know Orange County and LA got a thing, but just for the outsiders.
No, totally, man. Hey, I'm the outsider too. I'm just looking in, watching everything, and writing stories.
I love this. I love that we're bridging gaps here. In
yeah, man.
This is great. We're breaking down walls.
Wrestling, I mean, come on. What more can you ask for?
If you can change, and you can change, the whole world can change. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Harry always bringing it to a weird place.
Oh, we got somebody north of Ireland in the chat too. We're worldwide right now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Welcome.
Welcome,
Comic Book Love.
Yeah, it's great, man.
So,
great to
keep
have
telling
you
us
here.
about Ghetto Dragon.
Yeah, so to encapsulate the story is pretty much a story about a young man named Matt Guerra, who is a practitioner of Bruce Lee style Jeet Kune Do, which for those of you who don't know, Jeet Kune Do is as Bruce Lee calls it, the style with no style. It's the martial arts that teaches more about how to defend yourself in a street fight, because as you know, street fights, there's no rules in the street fights. Anything goes at that point. It's pretty much, in his words, not the video game, but his words, Mortal Kombat. It's anything can go wrong in a street fight. It ends like that if a hit gets hit, if someone lands a right hit at the right time.
Gotcha.
And so Matt Guerra, he saves a woman, a young girl, from being kidnapped. And turns out that these are members of the Los Valientes gang, and they have a little back and forth where they try to, give them a receipt for getting in the way of their I guess crime. They find out that, oh crap, this guy's not a pushover. He's actually tough. Like, he's actually a tough mother effer, So what they do is they up the ante and they attack his family. And after they attack his family, that's when Matt Guerra, his inner dragon, gets unleashed, and he decides to plot to take out the gang from the shadows. However, when the gang discovers his secret plan, because they do discover his plan, they unleash a wave of carnage to teach him a lesson, and that ignites the street wars.
I love that.
Okay.
Absolutely love that. It was such an awesome story. And so you're circling back around on this book. It's not often that we get to take a second swing or a second chance at the work we put out. So can you talk a little bit about creating the book from the beginning?
Yeah.
And then what led you to this now remaster of that book?
So the footnote is that the original artist, Alan Fletcher, he, at one point, right when we got to chapter 6 of the book, he told me he had to leave. He had to leave. He had to go back to school. He wanted to go back to school full time. So that first time around, when I crowdfunded the book, about, I think it was 2018, I believe it was, on Indiegogo, that was an attempt to keep him on for a longer period, so that way he could finish book 1 and maybe start book 2 if we're able to catch, get a big number. And we didn't. I didn't. It did well, but not enough where it would have kept him on. So he at least kept one promise, which was he would finish book 1, but I will have to wait a while for it to finish the last chapter, for him to finish the last chapter. So the version that you guys got in 2018 was practically unfinished. There's one chapter left he was still in the middle of drawing. And so it was one of those things where it was a rookie mistake on my part. I should have waited. I should have just waited and sat on the book until he finished that last chapter. And then I could look for another artist to continue on book 2. And then I should have, unleashed it on Instagram, on IGG or Kickstarter.
It's, in fairness to you, though, I think every creator, we get so excited about our work that we just want to get it out,
especially
there.
Especially being a first project.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're excited. You want to get it out there. You want to go to shows. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, I jumped the gun, in other words. So I owned it, and so I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it right this time. I'm gonna sit on the book. I'm gonna wait until he finishes the last chapter, and when he finally did, I got the inker, I got the colorist to do their thing. That took a while because the budget was tight on my end, so I had to make sure I didn't go overboard. And so in the meantime, I was working on other stuff. Vigilant Fury was one project I was working on with Gambino at the time. And then while that was going on, I was still looking for that second artist. I couldn't find him. It took a while longer than I anticipated. And I finally found the artist, Chepe Rios, on Twitter. And I thought, okay, this guy's pretty good. And maybe I could, hit him up and see if he's available. And sure enough, he was. And originally we were supposed to work on something else. But then that fell through because there is a story that I developed that he and I were going to develop together that was already written and developed years prior to what I was developing. It was eerily the same, which was crazy. It was like you want to talk about the ether, right? Everything being up for grabs. Because he emailed me saying, "Hey man, I found this webcomic that we have here in Mexico. and it's really similar to what we're doing. And so he sent me the link. I read it. I swear to you guys, 4 scripted pages were almost identical to what this guy wrote.
You never met the guy.
I never met him.
Put it out there. You
never heard of it.
Cross of the like, you guys couldn't have been like, oh, he saw your work and you got, or, you know, there's no cross, nothing like that.
Nope.
2 brains having the same idea, producing it at the same time. This is
was wild, dude.
And Volcano all over again.
It was wild, and he had he had published it. He had published it digitally anyway, 3 years prior to what we were doing. So he was already ahead. The only difference was
Julius Freeman. Sorry,
what happened
in the chat?
His name is Julius Freeman. Good to have you here, Jason. It's good to have you. I like that. I like that.
Good. That's your Bizarro.
Now you have an alternate identity.
I do.
I commit nefarious crime under.
So the major difference was that his approach was fantasy. My approach was sci-fi heavy. That was the only difference. So that was, but it's still the same. It was. I'll tell you real quick what it was. The protagonist was a preteen. My story was that he was a preteen immigrant traveling from Mexico, trying to get to the U.S. And then during the trip over there, the federales take him and they sell him off to the cartels to do slave labor. And he escapes, runs into a cave, falls into this underground lake, and then these big, huge doors. He opens it, and it's like a sci-fi ship, and he gets like this, like a cybernetic suit from outer space, right? And so this guy's story,
Man of War of you.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. That's the reason why. Yeah. That's the reason why I scrapped it too. I was like, it's too close to that. Yeah, so, and then so his story was the same. The only difference was it was the cartel going to his mom's house to take him for slave labor, and he runs away, falls into an underground cave with the lake, 2 large doors, but it was a magical door, and it opens up, and he becomes Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, okay.
So it was like
kind of like
it was crazy.
The Ultimate Man. That sounds.
It was crazy. I was like, okay, we obviously can't do it. So when that happened, that's when I told him, hey, do you want to draw Ghetto Dragon? Because I was like, it didn't dawn on me yet, and he was like, dude, yeah, hell yeah. So it worked out. It worked out because he's a huge Bruce Lee fan too. So it worked out.
Okay.
So it worked out.
So now, now once you remaster this, are you planning on continuing it, or is the story done at that point? I'm
continuing. I want this to be a series. I want this to be a long running series. Not monthly. Great. Yeah, not monthly. I'm trying to do quarterly.
That'd be good.
Graphic novel size, 70 plus pages.
This is your project. Like I apologize. I have Vigilant Fury upstairs. But it's in my 4 piles of graphic novels.
Yeah, I know, dude. I don't blame you,
Julius, because I have read Ghetto Dragon when you were on the show years ago.
But this is completely different.
But I love that, and I always wanted to read Vigilant Fury too, especially and you and Gambino together is a great team.
Oh yeah, I love.
But like I when I read Ghetto Dragon, I was like, this is good. Like I would love to see this as a comic, as a monthly comic.
I would love to have that too, but resources for indie creators are not the same as Marvel and DC, which is the toughest part about it.
Yeah, exactly. And quarterly is pretty noble, actually. Like I think
we're trying.
I'm trying to do 2 or 3 a year, and I'm not even hitting that goal. Like so I don't know. It's like if you can hit quarterly, that's amazing.
It's a matter of having like a rolling schedule. You know what I mean? Once you can manage a rolling schedule,
money
is
a little bit easier. Money is what holds back every creator.
But it's getting that Kickstarter. You have to think of like the project with the Kickstarter time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to really manage it. And sometimes that's just too much. Like, especially if you have a day job, forget about it. And that's why
absolutely.
Greydon managing so much, like it's so impressive. You know what I mean? I have to give respect where respect is due.
So that's cool. That's exactly right. And and I wanted to add on to what Greydon said earlier in the show about the industry not I guess, progressing in terms of like the avenues in terms of like revenue avenues, because everyone's stuck on the old traditional model, getting to books and comic shops, which is still great. Don't get me wrong, but we live in a different time now where there's all these platforms that we can utilize. And I feel like, and I agree with what he said earlier about how not many of us are looking at that. And that's what I'm starting to also realize myself. I was like, wait a minute, there's more to this. There's webtoons, there's Substack, there's all these avenues that we can utilize now to show our work to a larger audience. We can't funnel our way only on one social media or one platform. We should utilize all the platforms that are available to us to show our work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the tough part is that those main platforms are the market share, right? And
yeah,
they're so big, and like they feed into the machine. Like if you're telling me that there aren't pledges in all of our campaigns that aren't actually just people at Kickstarter or Indiegogo, then y'all smoking. You know what I mean? Like there's some of that's built in. So obviously they want to stay the top of the heap. So they're going to have to do that, right? So there's a little bit of that there too. But just to circle back around on Ghetto Dragon, and just to reiterate, this is genuinely a remaster, completely new artwork.
No. New. It's the same artwork. I just added the last chapter of the book 1.
Okay.
The new artwork is book 2, which is we're at 90% drawn, right? Penciled right now.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking through the campaign page and I saw something different. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is this?
No, this is it's book 1. So what I'm offering for this campaign is because there's a lot of complaints for the past year about, backers not liking to wait a year or 2 years anymore for the book. And I totally understand that because a lot of people were burned. A lot of backers have been burned over the years, myself included. I backed a project. I never got my book. I can forgive tardiness. I can forgive lateness because I get it. Life happens. So I can always forgive that as long as they update me or update the backers. But yeah, I've been burned a few times as well. So
and I've been so burned on Indiegogo. Kickstarter a little less, even though that's happened too. But Indiegogo is just like a nightmare because like it's just a platform where you pay up front and hey, good luck if you got it. You just threw money out the window, kid.
Pretty much.
I mean? Yeah.
Potentially
so
now.
You note that creator's name and you never back anything again. Like
but you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Always. And that's not always fun. You know what I mean? So and that's the other thing too, is that when you're on Indiegogo, you really have to know, like, I have to back somebody, like the person has to be reputable. They have to know that you're good for it to back you on Indiegogo,
And I'm about to do my first Kickstarter in like 7 years, so
you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, Kickstarter is pretty good right now. It's pretty it's pretty hot at the moment. So what I'm offering here is pretty much the book 1 complete. I'm just offering 3 versions, three tiers.
Is that total?
It's close to 80, 77 pages.
Pretty awesome, actually. It's a pretty beefy
so the first tier is just the book by itself. The second tier is the wraparound foil cover that's drawn by Afu Chan. It's going to be a virgin cover. There's going to be no logos or anything on it. And then the third tier is all 3 books combined. So you have the regular book, then you have the wraparound cover, foil cover, and the third book, which is the graphite edition of book 2, which is called A Fistful of Glory, and that's a 40+ page preview graphite edition of book 2.
Oh, okay.
So that way,
awesome.
Way, when you get the first book and you read it and you're like, oh, I can't wait to read the second one, you have the chance to get a preview of what's going to come after the events of book 1, because the events of book 1 is really solidifies the character's arc. It really does change the character forever as we know him when you get to know him in book 1.
Now, Ghetto Dragon, is he just a good fighter, or does he have anything supernatural about him?
No, it's a grounded kind of story. He's a grounded fighter. I hint something at it in book 2 with that, because I am planning on revving up a Lucid comic, the whole company, the whole, I guess, vision of it. And so book 2 is when I start to slowly trickle in some ideas that are going to connect with the other stuff. So I'm talking like crossovers with Vigilant Fury, crossovers with this character here, Samuel Zion, which is live currently on Webtoons. Right now I have this book on Webtoons.
Oh, you
The Last Dragon?
Well?
The Last Dragon?
What was that?
Would it be a crossover with The Last Dragon?
Oh, if I could get the rights to it, that'd be awesome.
Get the glow.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great if I could. If I can get the rights to that, that'd be awesome. I would love to write The Last Dragon, like a chapter of The Last
Show
Dragon.
enough.
Hell yeah.
Showing off, man.
or Bruce Leroy, not showing up. Bruce Leroy.
Leroy.
I want more Bruce Leroy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, his artwork is amazing.
The artwork,
Yeah,
is great.
Chepe's artwork is phenomenal. As you can see right here, it's
like cut from like the Image school of like artwork. Like,
yes. I think he was definitely influenced by I'm gonna say probably a little bit of
Liefeld, right?
A little bit of Liefeld. I would
Jim
say
Lee.
also not Jim Lee. They're all obviously that's also influenced. But I think I want to say Michael Turner. Michael
Turner, yeah. Especially these the panel borders here, like very Image, and these poses and everything.
Like Portatio, yeah.
Yeah, Portatio, yeah, definitely.
There you go. That's another one. Yeah, Chepe definitely comes from that school of.
It's great though. It's really
that old school Image, yeah. And I want to show you some more stuff. I want to show you this one here because I really love the way this one came out.
Okay,
I'll show you this one here.
Yours is the camera that's in the chat and this one, right? That
one. Let me remove this one.
Okay,
there you go. That's the one that's up right now. You can see it. This one is a fantastic
Oh yeah,
wow,
look at
what a dynamic page.
I mean, and this was all. All I did was like, I just want a bird's eye view of the showdown between the two characters, and this is what he gave me. I was like, damn, dude. All right, I got lucky with Chepe.
He's good though,
real good.
Look how everything points to this area right here.
Yeah,
drawing, it's just the cars, the crane, all of this.
Excellent staging. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Joe gets it. But yeah, really good stuff. Really, really solid. So this is going to be book 2.
This is going to be book 2. So this will be the graphite edition of book 2 if you back the black belt tier, which is the top tier of the campaign.
And the black belt tier for viewers of the show.
Yep, it's discounted.
Is discounted.
Discounted.
So, really? If you were watching, so Keith, if you look in the private chat, and I may have just dropped it in the comments currently, is that Julius was very kind enough for viewers of the show to get the top tier, the best tier of Ghetto Dragon at a discount for how long? How long is it going to run?
Until the show's over. So you got to get it now.
Wow. Literally till the end of the show.
Link in
the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just posted it in the comments on YouTube.
And also, it's not going to be the only time I'm going to do this. It's the last 10 days. So I'm really going to go final countdown, status. And every show that I'm on, including my own, I'm going to have, this perk for you guys if you guys watch in and listen.
But it's in limited access only for viewers, which I like. You have to be there to gain access to it. This harkens back to, let me paint the picture. 1995, and I'm in front of a Macy's, and I'm waiting to get in line to get Metallica tickets. You have to be there, actually present to get the thing. That's what this is.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I love that. So I shared it again in the chat here as well, everybody. So you heard it. It's a discount going for as long as we're live, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For as long as we live.
Thanks for doing that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I say, it's the final countdown. I want to raise the funds, and again, if I don't raise the funds, it's all good. I have a pivot. I already came up with the game plan.
Okay, good, because I was looking. You got a tough uphill battle.
I figured when I got the Kickstarter together, I was like, this is a big ask, and I'm not really quote unquote proven yet to a lot of people, so I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see if anyone will take the deal or the deals or the books, and if not, then I'm just gonna pivot to something. I'm gonna pivot to something else that's eventually, hopefully, will rev up as time goes on. Because I do have the webtoons that I'm gonna activate. I have Global Comics. I'm also looking at other platforms. Substack. I just got into Substack, so I'm really gonna utilize as much as I can webcomic wise, and hopefully I could build a readership there so that way I could funnel them to a future crowdfunding
Gotcha.
campaign.
Yeah, because
build your
honestly,
base in that regard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of this character, and I think me and Johnny probably aren't the only ones. Like, I think a lot of people, like I noticed, love the street level character. I mean, if you think about it,
loved it.
Batman's like the hottest character right now. And,
Daredevil.
Daredevil. I mean, Punisher. I mean, this is a story. I kind of it's a street vigilante. I wanted to write a street vigilante story. That's essentially what I wanted to do with Ghetto Dragon.
They're always the best because it's like they have a lot tougher than like a metahuman. Like they're just human. So it's like
also
like
those
human
movies,
will, you know. What's
those,
that?
Nobody movies. The Nobody movies.
Yeah, that was great.
You know,
which is like normal.
Yeah, Nobody. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Raid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, the Raid is another prime example of just an everyday man. You know, just wants to provide for his family, and he has to fight his way out of that building in that first one.
Yeah,
which is an amazing movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just saw what's that movie? I just saw Stallone in what's that movie? He's like a superhero.
Is it the one that was
but nobody
Prime?
knows. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Was it
Samaritan?
Samaritan. Yeah, that's what
Samaritan.
it was. That was pretty good.
Right.
I like that movie.
That's pretty good. I like
It was
the
on
twist at
Prime.
the end though. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie though.
Yeah, I can agree. I like that
recommend it.
movie. It was kind of forgotten from a lot of people, and I think it's mostly because it was just available only on Prime. So,
And I think it was a COVID release
Yeah.
too, wasn't it? It was just kind of got shuffled out during the pandemic.
yeah,
Perhaps.
something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
that's the other thing too, is it's beautiful when you can see projects. The book that Greydon put out under Majestic, Brother Bones, Ghetto Dragon. They're all very unique voices, and they're all inherent to the individuals who are telling the story, and that permeates.
It's like
that permeates.
Plus, it's a relatable story, too, like the ground level stuff, because I just saw, I think in the news, like a woman's 60-year-old woman was walking out of a bus around here in Boston, the Boston area, and this lady on the bus was in a hurry, and so she shoved, instead of saying, "Can you please, excuse me, I need to get by you," she shoved the 60-year-old woman out of the bus, and she fell flat in her face. She did a Greg the Hammer Valentine on her face,
Oh my gosh!
on the sidewalk.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? And in that instance, I'm going to beat up that person. I hate, I'd be the first person to run away. But I mean, I want to be able to help somebody in a bad situation,
Yeah, right.
But I just get angry easily when I see people be.
Yeah, no one likes injustice. Everyone hates injustice.
Right,
that's
exactly.
a human trait.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to
exactly.
say.
I think that's what it taps into with these kind
Yes.
of stories,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why it works, But yeah, no, it looks awesome, Julius. And are you planning on doing other things too between this book? Are you doing any other projects?
Actually, I'm currently working on that Samuel Zeon story that's on Webtoons.
That
with
looks cool too.
Yeah,
What's
that
one about?
That one's a fun one, actually. Greg Gerostergios is the artist for that one, and he's become my go-to workhorse, comic book artist, because he's so fast, but he's also really good. He has the fundamentals of sequential storytelling down to a T, which is why I like working with them. But Samuel Zeon I had this idea one day when I worked at a telecommunication company. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to put myself on blast, but
yeah, right.
I worked for a telecommunication company, and I hated it there. I was there for a long time, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. And every day was a nightmare waking up and going to work. And I just
have that place.
Yeah. So I had this idea of what if there's a character who has immortality, but he can't die until he pays his debt.
Okay.
And then from there, that's where I started building up the story of this character. I just had, and then the name came after when I developed the story, but I came up with this idea of this common thief in the age of King Solomon, and he breaks into King Solomon's temple for treasures.
Oh my god!
And he accidentally tips over this cabinet full of flasks, and he releases all these evil entities into the world. And so when the King Solomon's guards catch him, King Solomon curses him. Now you have to bring those entities back here, so I could keep him here entrapped, and you won't be able to die until you collect them all. And so the idea was when he leaves the temple, he says, "Screw that! I'm good. I'm immortal." So he just lives his life in the way anyone does. But then he finds out that he's immortal, meaning he still dies, but he comes back to life after 7 days. So he has to live in hell for 7 days and then come back. And then when he comes back, he's a zombie corpse and he has to heal, which is a painful process for him until he gets better. And then he goes on living his life. And he does that for thousands of years until finally he's like, I'm done. I need to collect these freaking ghosts, these entities, not out of heroism, just basically because he just wants to rest in peace finally. And that's what Samuel Zeon is about.
Wow, that's really cool.
When you were first,
what a good concept.
When you were first describing that, I was picturing Michael Jackson in that video that Remember the Times.
Yeah. How did that bring him?
I don't know.
Michael Jackson?
King of tangents, Harry G. Everybody.
How does anything bring up anything in Harry's brain?
Because he was in King Tut's pyramid, and he's like,
I see.
Iman, Eddie Murphy's wife, and then he to get away, spun away at the end, and he turned to sand.
Actually,
anyway,
it reminded me somewhat of, remember the TV show Brimstone?
Oh.
No.
Oh, you
I remember that. It was he was a bounty hunter. It was Spawn.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a bounty hunter from hell, right?
Yeah,
interesting.
Like
okay.
A cop that was resurrected from hell, and he's hunting or escaped souls from hell for the devil, and the devil was John Glover, which was absolutely perfect.
Great casting.
But the thing that was cool about the show is the guy, the main character, was covered with all these tattoos, and every time he sent a soul back to hell, one of the tattoos would leave his body.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Body. And the only way he could send these souls back to hell is if he shot their eyes out. So he would always oh my God. It was like live stuff for TV. Like it was
wow.
for like a season, and it was great. And if anyone ever gets a chance to see it, it was a great show.
You know what's funny?
It reminds me a little bit of what you were describing there with the whole chasing the ghosts and
Yeah, well, in this story, he doesn't do it, like I said, out of goodness. He just does it because he has to. He's
right. It's
a disgruntled employee that just can't quit his job.
Those are the best characters, though.
Yeah,
I love
it's been a lot of fun writing that character.
That's why John Constantine appeals to a lot of people. Or even like the new character from Ghost Machine there, Redcoat. Very much selfish character that you want to see to do better, but they usually can never get it together. There's like glimpses of their greatness, but you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, no, and you know what? That's funny you mentioned Constantine, because that was an influence on this story.
Was it really?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to not so much the attitude and the smoke, the chain smoking or anything like that, but more mainly the cynical attitude a little bit.
This guy's been through it all, and
yeah, exactly,
and everybody over, at some point. Exactly.
and it's funny that Harry, you mentioned Michael Jackson, but it's because I actually based off his outfit on Smooth Criminal.
Oh,
the white outfit. Wow. So
nice.
So it's because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, still am, and so Thriller Pokemon kind of catch him.
Well, see, I was never a huge Michael Jackson fan, but he's one of those guys that died. I'm like, it's kind of weird that he's no longer in the world. You know what I mean? Like because he's always been like during when I was growing up. When I was growing up, like you would hear his music everywhere in the car and in an elevator. Like, his music was omnipresent, no matter what. Even when he was a little kid, right. Yeah. In a way. But,
yeah, right.
Yeah, in a way.
But no, this is great, Julius. And like, how's I know you're trying to do some cool stuff with YouTube again. Like, you're doing like a show and stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing I try to do a weekly live stream with my co-host Kyle, and Kyle is a great find. He and I work together in our day jobs, and that's where I met him. And so when I was training him, he mentioned, I asked him, hey, what'd you do this weekend? It wasn't a Monday. He's, did you do anything fun this weekend? He said, oh yeah, I went to the comic book store. And I was like, wait, you read comic books? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, he's young. He's like 24, so.
Oh, that's cool. So you get that.
So I was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool, dude. What you pick up? And he's like, he started telling me which books he picked up. And that's when he asked me, do you read comic books? I'm like, yeah, dude. Of course I read comic books. And then so.
Not only do I read them, I make them.
I make comics. Yeah, not only do I read them, I make them. So he and I got to talking more and more. And it was kind of cool to meet him at that point because he had no idea what he was buying. He had no clue what to buy, where to look, how to find it. Because he told me the story.
Would you turn him on to?
Oh, all the good stuff, man. All the good stuff.
Good.
So at first I kind of held off because I wanted to see how serious he was. I want to see maybe is he a casual reader or is he someone who's actually wants to get into it. So as I got to know him, he ended up telling me, I actually want to get into it. I want to know I want to read all the lore stuff, all the stuff that came before, and get to know these characters more. So I was like, great. And so I asked him, how has anyone taught you at the stores? He's like, no, I go in the shop and I asked him, hey, do you know where I could start? And they're like, yeah, we have the stuff over there in the bins. You could just look there. So I was like,
they don't really give them.
They didn't guide you? I was like, dang, dude.
Yeah. Well, why do you think stores is
criminal?
Very criminal, very criminal. So I told him, okay.
Help. The problem is, I work in a store part time. I try to help. The problem is we never have good number ones where I can get someone.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
This would be a great series to start, but I gotta admit, the Absolute Batman is bringing in a lot of new people.
Yeah, it is.
Never seen in the store, and they keep those in print all the time. It's such a smart thing. I sold an entire set today, actually.
Wow, really?
12 issues, and I was like, holy shit.
I'm curious about
I don't know how people are finding out about it, which is interesting. I'd love to know that.
What about Absolute Batman is turning on non-comic book readers?
Exactly, because I would love, because the guy that came in, the kid was not a normal comic reader, and he's like, I want to get this because I've seen some stuff online and it looks cool, and I was like,
dude, it's TikTok. TikTok's huge amongst the young readership. They're the ones making the videos going, guys, I just read this book. This is amazing. And they go to the shops and buy it.
And,
yeah, okay. And you're absolutely right. The comic shop that I go to regularly, they have back the that cover from the last one where Bane's grabbing the logo.
Oh yeah.
So I went expecting great. There's going to be plenty of copies because they always order an abundance amount.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, sold out. It was all sold out.
Oh man.
Well, number 1 is on an 8th printing.
Dude, isn't that wild?
How crazy is that in this day and age?
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts? I think that even outdid the Ultimate Spider-Man.
See, it on the surface it does seem nuts, but actually in reality it makes total sense because if the young readers today are reading manga, what happens when they go into the shop and they say, hey, I want to read One Piece. Where do I start? Book 1. Right on the wall right there.
Yeah.
And so Absolute Batman is still relatively fresh. So all the young kids going, I want to read this. Where do I start? Issue 1. So over there. The 8th printing is over there in the wall.
Well, the other brilliant thing that DC's doing with it is every time they reprint number 1, they do a different cover or some kind of variation on it.
Right, but they don't.
They're not doing collectors too. It's really smart marketing, and I don't see any of the other Absolutes quite on fire like that one though.
I think I know why the stories aren't as strong.
Yeah,
and I read Absolute Superman and I read Absolute Wonder Woman. It didn't hit the same way Absolute Batman did, and I think the reason why Absolute Batman hit so well is because they made Bruce Wayne into a blue collar character.
Yeah,
as opposed to a philanthropist, rich man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. It feels like Snyder sat down and really plotted this universe out. It feels lived in, where the other ones don't quite. They feel like half baked a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Yep, that's what I got from it when I read those.
Superman started off okay, but it's very weird. It's not like Superman at all.
No,
I think it's this weird, bratty kid from this planet that suits all this weird tech. It's not the same. At least Batman it's the character at its core, even though a lot of the details are different, but it's the character, you know?
Yeah, he's the brooding, quiet. I'm gonna just observe everything and then make sure everything's that's Batman. That's the Batman we all love, right?
Yep.
The
and that
detective.
Nick Dragotta artwork is
amazing,
man.
amazing.
Oh, good,
yeah, very good.
Great. But yeah, it's interesting how that's like on fire right now and bringing in new viewers and new readers, which is cool. I wish I could figure out how to replicate that formula. Go ahead, Johnny. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think it's just like they're kind of just taking that, the Ultimates formula and applying a little bit of that to this.
Yeah, it is. It's
the
like
DC universe, right? So,
and it's a new take that someone can get in on the ground level.
Yep.
You know,
right. So 10 years from now, it's like that's going to be the cinematic Batman is the absolute version. You know what I mean? So it's almost like they're paving groundwork. And with a book selling this much, it's only a matter of time before it does that cross medium break.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to start to wrap up soon, but I definitely want to chat with you guys, for a little bit longer here,
Sure.
I was going to say, Joe actually had some really awesome artwork going while Julius was talking.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. I saw that.
Yeah, Joe, can we make Joe big and can you show off some of those pages, dude?
I was also working this one is from Entropy. So that's
Entropy.
This is kind of the Joe show tonight. So
I love it.
Love it, Joe.
I'm the first image everyone sees.
Joe, how is it working with someone like Ron? And then
it's awesome. He's a really good dude. Yeah, like
writers that you've worked with. Is it like a difference in style, or is it like have you noticed anything that?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be different styles for all. So with Ron, it was already a finished 130-page screenplay that he converted to the comic. So it is blocked out with panels, just like regular. With the Extropy stuff with Greydon. I'm a little more involved in the storytelling and kind of like, I'd say like kind of showing them like the breakdown and how everything goes for comic storytelling in general and like some aspects on that and trying to like be integrated with all that. And then Johnny for Sartana, we've been off and on for so many years, but like all the stories, like the flair and the flavor is always there, so it really works. I've only thumbnailed 2 pages from the next, but I am getting ready to do the next issue of Sartana as well, and that'll be a full book as well.
I know Johnny's been talking about that issue. He's excited to get it going.
Yes, that one's going to be fun. And then, of course, I'll have to do another 2 issues of Brother Bones, which there's a little... so the first 2 issues are going to be 53 pages out of the 130, so the next 2 issues after that are going to be a bit more, but we're including smaller pieces and just kind of like flavor stories of the Brother Bones world. Ron didn't mention, I wanted to praise him while he was there too. He has there's another comic project called Crimson Nun. He has other projects in the same universe as Brother Bones, so in Cape Noir and in that kind of region that is either maybe 5, 10, 20 years after the events of Brother Bones or just those kinds of aspects. But I love the iconic skull face piece for Brother Bones, so that was why I really wanted to get on this, and thought it was really awesome. And I have some of my own stories as well. Might be pushing them through Kickstarter, getting some help from the Majestic guys because they've been huge assets, really good dudes on the way. So
very cool.
Yeah, badass.
Looking at the chat, looks like Mr. Shushy said he's looking for advice. He's going to do the Wicked Comic Con in Boston. Table at the Artist Alley.
Any advice we could offer as veterans? Johnny, we've done both Wicked. We've both done.
I'm going to ask you, Mr. Shushy, I'm asking you right off the bat. Are you doing the free October show that's coming up?
I think so. I think that's the one.
Yeah, because in
2 weeks. Yeah.
So that's the October one coming up. Yeah. Okay. So that's a funny one where it's in like a certain portion of the hotel, and it should be pretty good. The free attendance helps. I would probably say go in there with moderately priced books and hustle bundles. People love bundles at that show. So like if you can pair up a couple of different things and put it together for a good price, I would say that would probably be the path forward for making a good solid buck.
He's just starting out. So I'm guessing so I know for me, the first handful of years, I didn't make a lot of money at Comic Cons, but the connections you make meeting people is like,
that's key.
That'll probably be your biggest takeaway from the first couple of, year or so of doing a convention.
Yeah, and practice your voice, practice your pitch.
Yeah,
every person that walks by is a chance for you to work on your social skills.
And his book is very funny, so I think he definitely has a shot. He's doing because I know Mr. Shushi. He's doing a book like a children's book, kind of like the go the F to sleep, but his is like microplastics are your friends. So I feel like that right there. Yeah, you're already laughing. So
yeah,
so right
that's
there,
good. That's a good hook.
He almost doesn't have to do much work as long as he can get that title in front of people. I bet people will chuckle and want that book.
That's what it is. It's really about just selling the story. Like it could be nothing. You could really.
It is. Sometimes it's the pitch though. Like
it's the pitch that gets him every time.
But I think he's got half the battle there with the title is so funny.
Right.
I know when I pitch
scary
Mighty Mascots, I get a lot of laughs when I tell them that they're 3D printed. So people get a chuckle of that sometimes, and then that can that's my in.
Well,
and
more specifically, you say 3D printing accident.
Yes,
which that and it's that could that's as funny as circus accidents.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just tragic, but also very funny sounding.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know him from we used to do stand-up comedy together back in the day, so that's how I know him. And then now he's trying to get into the the comic side of things and do a book and a comic and everything. So but yeah, it's a different beast, but I think he's got the personality for it. I would say that's half the battle right there.
You just got to persevere, because sometimes being behind the table,
the most important thing is to be ready for a customer to come over, not be on your phone.
Right.
Have a positive attitude, all that stuff,
but also not to be too aggressive. You got to kind of just find
right.
Yeah.
So
a lot of it's just reading the customer as they approach you at the table,
exactly,
understanding where they're at, not being overly aggressive. If they catch something, give them the quick pitch.
Yeah, just think about yourself at a show, and when someone pitches to you and all the stuff that you can't stand or like about what other comic artists do to you. Are
you interested? Are you interested? Well, then get the fuck out of my table.
Yeah, right. Well, I never get the hard sell. I tend to grab my badge and go, I'm here too, man. I'm trying to sell, just so I can get out of there and not buy his book.
You want a grizzled veteran pro tip? Here's a grizzled veteran pro tip.
Go ahead.
If you have cosplayers in front of your table just camping out, taking up space, blocking everything, get your booth mate or the table next to you to go around front and go, hey, can you guys move so I can snap a photo? And then they'll just politely move. And then and it's unassuming. So that way you don't get the harshness of saying, hey, get out in front of my booth.
Right. What about using an air horn?
What's that, Harry?
What about using an air horn? Would that work too? Or?
That could work too. I actually like blow darts where they get hit in the neck and they just pass out.
Right.
Bruce Lee says the art of fighting without fighting.
There you go. Right. There you go. Keeping it with your theme.
I have politely said to them though, hey guys, can you move? I'm
trying
to get people to come over here. So yeah, I politely ask sometimes, but
sometimes they won't though, even if you politely ask. So you got to use the photo technique.
I will employ that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's about it. It's mostly just think of it as you're selling your comic. So
straight up,
you want to put out the best representation. And
you're more than selling your comic. You're selling yourself.
Yeah, too.
You're selling your heart and you're selling your soul.
Right.
You will
If you
hear a
can't do
lot
those
of
three
I'll
things.
come back later, and 90% of the time they're never coming
Yeah,
back. But there's
much.
10% that they might.
So you know, at SPX, remember that girl? She goes,
Yeah.
I'll come back, and you know, she wanted to know what her table number was, and you know that you immediately think like, you know, like everyone says, oh, they're not coming back. She came
Yeah.
back.
She
So
did.
don't
I
count
witnessed
them
it.
out. Don't
Yeah, I
count them out.
witnessed it. So it does happen. It's she's in that 10%, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Don't want it says comic book love. Don't want to wet any books to maybe silly string. Maybe silly string. There you go.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
get the
right. Whatever works.
This is why I love that gray, and I walked the convention and approached people. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Really.
So a little sort of framing for that. You know, I come from hip hop where, you know, you're selling out of the trunk. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm so used to cold selling people. Like I feel like I can sell
Oh, dang! You used to do that.
Porno.
You used to do that, man.
I used to. So when I was in the military, I was at Fort Riley, Kansas, and there's a chain of gas stations called Quick Trip, and I remember standing outside of a Quick Trip gas station for 12 hours a day, just paying people. I would pay people to let me play my demo for them in their car, and I would run out of money and be like, "Yo, bro, like I'll give you the change that I had to let me like play you my record or whatever," and that's, you know, I would sell people like that. So.
Oh wow!
Me, I don't have the idea, and Joseph will tell you, like I like it when he just wants to sit at the booth at the table, and I can go around and, you know, work the room, because in hip hop, that's all you really have is your ability to sell yourself.
Yeah,
so there's
that's awesome.
There's no nervousness. It's like I can sell anything to anybody under any circumstance.
And Greydon, didn't you do riot control in Iraq? I mean, you know how to like work.
Yeah, we did everything from riot controls to working ACPs, to local patrols, to security for convoys, for medical units, 20th cash.
Did you ever have any close calls or anything, or?
I mean, not stuff I would talk about on
well, right.
But yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, you know, my unit was pretty active, to say the least. I mean, the 82nd was active. Just active, so there was a lot going on in that part. I mean, I basically was at Alta Quantum Air Base, and, you know, had, you know, convoys through Al Ramadi and Nasiriyah and Hamadia and, you know, Tikrit, and like we did the whole thing. So I
crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, that's great.
Thank you for thanking me. No, thank you for thanking me.
Before we close out the stream, I wanted to talk, and we actually have a little video to show, but like me and Johnny and a couple of great friends and my wife and Johnny's girlfriend and everything, we went to the Big E this weekend. And Johnny, do you want to like let the audience know that's not in New England what the Big E is?
Yeah, so the Big E is a county fair. What, you know, most areas would have a county fair. I know San Diego has a pretty big one. The Big E is one meant for the Eastern Seaboard. So a lot of places from everywhere come up to this 17-day fair that's in Springfield, Massachusetts. One of the fun little things about this layout of the fair is that they have these individualized buildings that make up New England. So there's a Vermont house, there's a Massachusetts house, there's a Rhode Island house, and etc. And there's establishments and businesses that are rooted in these areas. So it's a very kind of homegrown kind of thing. But the video more specifically kind of poses the question of the number one thing that you see at a carnival or at a county fair is
carnies
on a stick.
Yeah, everything is on a stick.
Carnies on the stick. Wow.
Everything's on a stick, but I don't know. That sets things up. Keith, do you want to roll the video?
Yeah, so while we were there, we were all enjoying the weird food and everything. And me and Johnny was like, let's make a video real quick. So this is what we came up with. And special thanks to my wife for editing this thing together in the last day. But also, she wrote the song that's in this. So
she wrote the song.
Nice.
She wrote the song, and used like I think it's Suno, the music making program, to like bring it to life and stuff. But so yeah, without further ado, it's just a minute. It's
for the record, that's AI music, but I'm not going to go there.
Okay, don't go there. All right, here we go.
I don't condone AI music or comics or art or anything. I just want to say that right now.
All right, here we go. Rolling the video.
Hey, food crew, light that grill. Put it on a stick. Burgers, veggies, fruit, and more. Put it on a stick. Marshmallows, pizza, fish.
So we've been inspired by the Big E. Yes, and me and Johnny have been contemplating it. Everything here is on a stick.
We saw salmon on a stick. We saw pickle on a stick.
Meatballs on a stick.
Meatball on a stick. There was marshmallow on a stick.
Anything.
So we were thinking, is it possible to put comics on a stick? The way I would spin that is put digital comics on a thumb drive. Comics on a stick, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
right?
So, food for thought.
Burgers, veggies, fruit, and more. Put it on a stick. Marshmallows, pizza, fish, and cheese. Put it on a stick. Pets and shoes and dogs and cats. Put it on a stick.
Bravo.
That face I made, it looks like I was special needs or something.
I was a little bit inebriated at that point in the day.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything, Johnny, but I was gonna let you enjoy yourself.
No, I know.
You can tell I was a couple milligrams deep in the hundreds.
You still did good, Johnny.
A comic book on the stick. Whoa, dude.
Yeah, for real, dude. I was cooked. I was full of fucking greasy foods, fucking psychedelics, everything. It was crazy.
The song is like very Dropkick Murphys almost.
Yeah, it has like a little bit.
A little bit. The AI threw me off, but I mean, and Greydon actually has no problem with AI.
No, I love AI. I have a whole big opinion about.
Tombstone said comic book on a stick will revolutionize.
I love it.
Right on. I think it's good as a tool. There's a place for it.
Yeah, well,
people are liking the video.
The anti-AI sort of position is that at what point in the technological line do we draw the line and say this is too much technology?
Skynet. When the robots save us. Yeah.
The thing is, it's like everyone
bringing it back around.
And about where that line is, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. This is where it kind of gets real gritty. Most artists suck as people. Okay. So what's going to end up happening is the people who are crappy people in the medium of art are going to be replaced so that you don't have to deal with those people. I can't tell you how many times I try to reach out to people to do business. Hey man, let's do some work. Hey man, let's do some work. Hey man, let's do some work. Nobody wants to get a hold of you. Now all of a sudden there's something that can just replace people and people hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We talk about how much we hate our jobs. We sit around and talk about how much we hate people. And now AI is coming to replace all that. And everyone's like, AI is the big evil. You sat up and told me for 25 years you hated your job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
You sat around and told me you hated people. You can't stand anybody. There's going to be legions of AI in between you and the next person.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
The world they want in 2 years. Everyone's going to get the world they want in 2 years.
Yeah.
I promise you.
But I just feel like AI can't replicate or even exceed the beautiful artwork of Joe Arnold.
So,
and
if I can't get a hold of Joe Arnold, if I don't have access to Joe Arnold, what's my options?
Find another artist that's of like hand and mind.
Yeah.
This assumes you're in a position of privilege to be able to do that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. That's an unspoken thing about indie comics is that the writers, the creators, we spend out of pocket to get work done.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, it is. So that's the thing is we are borrowing from the future, especially when we have a concept and an idea and a campaign, and we have to bet on ourselves a lot. That's the big thing about indie comics is like you have to be able to bet on yourself. If you can't bet on yourself, that's really where you have to really think about things and draw the line, because it's a lot about betting on yourself, betting on the story, having the confidence to put it out there, and knowing that when you run that campaign and you put in the work and you do the due diligence, that money will come back to you. You know what I mean?
Can I
also believe that the more
Yes, please, Greydon. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want to drive this point home. So I grew up in a time where there was analog recording. People recorded on tape, right? They recorded on reel-to-reel tape. Analog, was the way you recorded. Around 1996 or 97, Pro Tools came out. You were able to record on computers. And everybody from the analog age told everybody who was young, yo, bro, music ain't supposed to be in them computers, bro. Computers, bro. You record on them computers.
I remember that.
Does anybody remember that?
I remember that. Also, you know what? To keep it within the comic book sphere, that's how people felt about Photoshop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
That is fair. That is fair.
So it's like at what point do we draw the technological and say, oh, this is too much technology? No, use what you can use. If I can't get a hold of the great, fantastic, talented artists, either A, there should be more fantastic, talented artists available, or AI is going to replace them. If you're too busy and too talented to be available, AI will replace you.
Yep.
It's not nice, but it's facts. Yeah. By the way, if you can't find Joseph Arnold, look for Structure Arts on Instagram, on TikTok, all them things. So yeah, a little selfish promo there.
No, please, because we've been referring to you under your common name, but that's really where people can find you. So we definitely want to make sure that that's out there. And just to kind of put a little pin in the AI thing on my side of it, it's like it is a touchy subject for people. I always advocate for it as a tool, not as replacement.
Yeah.
But I can see both sides of the coin, Greydon. I understand if you don't go after it and you don't bite it, you don't get it, AI will replace you. Simple as that.
Yeah, if you're not putting in the work, then you are replaceable.
That's the thing. You got to put the work in, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Right. So yeah, I'm ready to wrap up, fellas. We've been going for 3 hours now.
Solid 3 hours. I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of fun in the stream. Everything's great.
Oh my God.
Right.
This has been one of the most
3 hours flew by. Like
yeah, one of the most fun shows.
Before we go, I wanted to mention my upcoming Kickstarter. I'm probably going to go mid to late October. It's been too long, but just wanted to mention mine coming up. Kid Switch issues 1 and 2. Issue 1 is pretty much complete, and issue 2 is halfway completed. So I'm kind of following your way of thinking, Julius, where you don't want to wait a year before you give the issues to people. So trying to do both, and I'll release. I have the video almost made to my specifications, so I'll be dropping that soon. And
who's gonna be your artist for this series?
So the first issue was one I started years ago with Gazbot as my artist, which is this guy that did this cover. And I put this project to the side when Mighty Mascots started to hit. But now I'm going back and finishing it because it was supposed to be a 4-issue miniseries. I have issues 1, 2, and 3 written, and 4's outlined. So it's like I stopped and I was like, I hate leaving things unfinished. Right. Which clearly you're the same way because you went back into the Ghetto Dragon chapter. But so that's what it is. I'm taking a small break from Mighty Mascots to finish this. And then I'll probably do the next 2 issues next year.
I've always loved the fact that you have made an effort to make an all ages comic book stories and comic books.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's what's lacking in also in today's indie market is that everyone wants to be like this. And I'm guilty of it too. Like everyone wants to tell their crazy violent story, but it'd be nice from time to time to have books where kids can enjoy it too, not just adults.
Yeah, and the way I look at all ages is the way Bruce Timm and Paul Dini looked at Batman the animated series,
or the early Pixar and early Disney.
Yeah, where it's like stuff can happen, like characters can die and everything, but it's all the way you handle it. Like
Exactly.
so you still have stakes, you know, you still have
stakes,
you know, stakes and thrills and action and everything, but it's like
Bambi,
anybody
man.
can read it, you know.
Bambi.
You don't throw swears in there, you know.
Drama.
There's like little ways to make it all ages, you know, and it's not hard.
Absolutely.
And it drives me nuts because Marvel and DC were all ages up until like what the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I think that's when they kind of went toward the edgy part. And the fine,
stuff,
but it's like you just totally cut out a whole generation of readers that potentially they could have gotten.
Yeah,
and that's going back to my co-host Kyle.
Exactly.
Yeah, and going back to my co-host Kyle, that's what he told me. He's all, when I grew up as a kid watching the movies, and I wanted to read the books, but no one pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah, right. Manga makes it so easy. Like someone, I think you might have mentioned that earlier, where it's like you want to read One Piece, you go find the first volume, and that's how you start, you know, and it's always available, and you know what I mean? Like it's just
you don't have to pay. You have to pay $35 for the first printing of the first issue.
Right, and you don't need to get Web of One Piece or
exactly
One Piece or you know, or the Amazing One Piece. You know, it's like it's just one book. That's where manga's got Western comics beat. You know, like they have a clear starting point, and there's no confusion on where you should jump in. You know, it's like that's why they're killing regular comics. You know, but. We could talk about that. Could be a subject.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Before we go, Johnny, Harry, anything you guys want to shout out this week?
I got nothing. I mean, I've been busy working on logos and stuff, but I actually redrew a plumber went to go create a logo for his plumbing company, and he used AI. And he realized he couldn't do anything with it, so he had me redraw it. So now I'm redrawing AI artwork.
My god!
To bring everything full.
I was about to say that's a nice way to button up that story.
Yeah,
right.
Well, at least you're getting paid, man. That's cool.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. So,
for me, I just want to take a moment to let everybody know that we got New York Comic Con coming up.
Oh yeah,
nice. That's right.
Yes. And that's going to be me and George Medina. We're going to be back at the same booth 2040 in small press, right under the 2000 banner. So by all means, please come by the show, check it out. George is going to be well underway with his shameless plug campaign at that time. I'm hoping to have a special print of Sartana with maybe a preview of Joe's latest piece that he did for me that actually was written by my good friend Jeff Ryder, who we saw at SPX.
Soon enough,
yeah. So
okay.
See or no, yeah. So
my brain's already on the next one. So
yeah. Joe did 10 pages of Sartana already for the next release, so that's already done. And I'm thinking I'm going to maybe bundle that together with a cover done by the one and only Brett Azar, which some people might know from Terminator, or you might know him from the TV show Young Rock, where he played the Iron Sheik. He is also an illustrator. What's that?
Johnny making moves. I love it.
Yes, so I'm very happy. I'm very happy that Brett did this awesome Sartana cover that Amy actually recolored for me. Your wife, Amy, and Keith, I can say now that you're doctoring up the cover for me a little bit, so it looks like a releasable cover, and I'm going to do try to do a very limited press for New York Comic Con. So whether I can get that done in time, we'll see if that can happen, but that's something we're doing. So that's my little shout out, but really what I want to shout out is a big thank you to all of our guests, to Greydon. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening to come on and share your work with us, and we're looking forward to having you
out
back
for the rest of the show.
Man. Thank you for spending the time. We greatly appreciate it.
It was a great
Joe and Julius and Ron.
Exactly. Yeah, Joe. Thank you, man, for taking time. Thank you for illustrating for us this whole time. You make him big, Keith, for the one he's working on now.
And also, look at
that
right there.
Awesome.
So good. Joe's just banging out stuff tonight. I love it.
great
job,
material.
Joe. Stuff looks great, man.
Yeah, and big thank you to Julius. Thanks for coming on, man, and sharing the time with everybody else.
One other thing I wanted to mention, since you brought up George Medina, I am looking to do another Monday live stream sometime in October, probably late October, because that's when Kick Switch will be live. George will have his book live, which, you know, another all ages book. Nandor, a lot of good friends of the show, Jay Moores. So we might have like a big like Kickstarter stream on like a Monday night, probably late October. I haven't zeroed in on the date yet, but Julius, if yours is only going for 10 more days, but are you doing something after that or no?
Yeah, I think I might do another quick print run of Acid 13, The Last Thanksgiving. It was the horror slasher comic book that I wrote.
Oh, okay. But you're not going to have like a crowdfunder and
I think I might. I might do like a not as big as obviously Ghetto Dragon. It might be just, you know, the minimum goal and see whoever wants to get the physical copy.
Oh, okay. Well, hit me up if you have it ready by late October, because you can come back on that.
For sure. I'll let you know. And also, I want to extend an invitation to you, Keith, and also to Johnny and Greydon and Harry and Joseph. If you have any future projects, hit me up. You know, give me a message, and then we'll schedule a show where you can come on the show and you could be with the show with me and my co-host Kyle, because it's pretty much comic book centric. It's pretty that's what we do.
Yeah, actually, I'll probably hit you up. Maybe we can do a dual stream. I'll turn on the.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to stream this to our audience. Dang it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do that.
Whatever you do, though, don't cross the streams.
No, we're gonna cross the streams.
That's what we want to do.
That's what we want to do. In this case, it's a beneficial to humanity.
Okay, all right.
All right, guys. Well, so we're gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys all being here.
Hang on, Keith.
Yeah.
Was there something else?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, how do we reach you if I wanted to reach Julius, because I wasn't sure. I see Harry.
Oh yeah, Julius.
Oh, my bad. Oh, dude, my handle's not underneath my name. What the heck?
Let me. I saw.
Give a shout out. Give a shout out where people can find you, Julius, online.
Oh, okay.
Your socials.
X Elucid Comic, Instagram Elucid PRD, YouTube Elucid Comic as well. It's all the same handles.
Put in the comments your
that's where you can find me. But if you stick around in the green room, Greydon, I'll give you the information there.
Good stuff.
Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. We're gonna wrap this on up. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. We'll be back live in 2 weeks. Yeah, live long and prosper, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great night, and most importantly, read some comics, everybody. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.